I kept a secret from Liu Ruyen, my girlfriend of 7 years, that I agreed to my parents' wish to return home and marry Bai Ningbing, who is in a vegetative state, along with Ruyen and my childhood friend Li Shiran. We grew up together from the time we were children. The bond between the three of us was always so beautiful. But then one day while we were traveling, we were suddenly caught in a flash flood. That fake young master, Sun Lin, stole the credit. He claimed he was the one who saved their lives when it was actually me. He even had the audacity to lie, saying I abandoned them to save my own skin. From that moment on, they favored him in everything. They even started bullying me just for his sake. I tried to explain myself. I tried so hard to hold on to what we had. I kept hoping that one day they would see through Sun Lin's mask, but reality was far more cruel. The only things I gained were layer upon layer of deep scars. I'm just so exhausted. All I want now is to walk away and never lay eyes on them ever again. My wedding to Bai Ningbing is set for 2 weeks from now. I told my parents over the phone that I'll be coming home sooner than planned, but the second I hung up, Sun Lin suddenly appeared. My gut tells me that seeing him only means trouble. I tried to walk away, but it was already too late. Fang Yuan, please, I'm begging you. Just let me go. I didn't know that after you went missing, your parents would seek me out as your replacement. I never meant to steal your place. Suddenly, a loud splash broke the silence of the beautiful day. The swimming pool was right there. Sun Lin had jumped straight into the water. For 3 years, he's pulled these same framing stunts. He's played this script over and over again. From my initial feelings of pure contempt, to now, where I'm just too weary to even deal with it. I just want to get as far away from him as possible. I wanted to quickly call someone to pull him out and put an end to this pathetic farce. I had to finish this before Liu Ruyen and Li Shiran saw us. Otherwise, no matter how much I explain, they'll never believe me. But Sun Lin had calculated the timing perfectly. The moment he hit the water, my girlfriend Liu Ruyen came rushing over. How could you be so incredibly cruel? Her eyes were filled with nothing but disappointment. She and the guards immediately dove into the pool. She didn't even give me a single chance to explain. We've been in love for 7 long years. She's supposed to be the person closest to me. What kind of person does she think I am? Does she really not know me at all? Why is it that every time Sun Lin claims I hurt him, she believes him without hesitation? This isn't the first time she's misunderstood me. But no matter how many times it happens, I can never get used to this agonizing feeling. I swallowed the bitterness in my heart and knelt by the edge of the pool. I intended to help them pull him out, but Li Shiran, hearing the commotion, rushed over as well. In a fit of rage, she delivered a violent kick to my back, sending me plummeting straight into the water. If anything happens to Sun Lin, don't you dare think you'll live in peace. Li Shiran's eyes were bloodshot. She glared at me with pure hatred, as if she wanted to tear me apart right then and there. But I didn't even have time to feel the heartache. The freezing vast water quickly engulfed me. My limbs felt like lead. My heart was pounding out of my chest. My mind went completely blank. I couldn't process anything else. There was only pure, unadulterated terror. Help. Somebody help me. I'm going to drown. I thrashed about wildly in the water, screaming for help in a blind panic. Li Shiran looked down at me with a disgusted expression, as if I were just acting. Hurry up and save him. She was standing right at the edge of the pool, but she absolutely refused to lift a finger for me. Ruyen and the guards were dragging Sun Lin past me. They intentionally steered clear of me. The two of them and the guards frantically saved Sun Lin and immediately rushed him to the hospital. Not a single soul cared about what happened to me. I've always been terrified of water, and I don't know how to swim. I must have swallowed gallons of pool water. Eventually, I didn't even have the strength left to struggle. My body gave out, and I began to sink toward the bottom. In that very moment, I felt a profound, burning hatred for Li Ruyen, and for Li Shiran too. I hated them for being as brainless as swine. Allowing Sun Lin to lead them by the nose and manipulate them, I hated how incredibly heartless they were. One was my girlfriend. The other claimed to be like my own sister, and yet they just stood there and watched me die. I hated myself even more for letting them trample on me for 3 years before deciding to leave, only to end up with such a pathetic, tragic ending. I can't even imagine how much pain this will cause my parents. Countless thoughts flashed through my mind, just as I thought I was about to lose my life. A maid in the house happened to spot me. She called for help and they managed to pull me out. I coughed up huge gulps of water repeatedly. My breathing was heavy and ragged. I didn't even have the strength to sit up. The ambulance took me straight to the hospital. That's when I found out I had a high fever of 40 degrees. Because I was submerged in freezing water in the middle of winter for so long, it turned into a severe case of pneumonia. In my feverish delirium, I began to dream of the past. When I was young, I was kidnapped by an enemy of the Fang family. They dumped me in a drainage ditch to die. Eventually, I was found and raised by an elderly man with an intellectual disability. And then, when I was 3, my grandfather passed away. After that, I survived thanks to the help of Ruyen's and Shiren's families. The 3 of us grew up side by side. One later became the girlfriend I loved deeply, and the other was the sister I cherished so much. When I turned 18, my biological parents were overwhelmed with emotion when they finally found me. They told me I was the long-lost young master of the Fang family. They wanted to bring me home for a reunion. I'd always yearned for a real family since I was a child, so at first I intended to go back with them. But then Ruyen, with tear-filled eyes, told me she didn't want to be apart from me for even a second. And the hot-tempered Li Shiran was even more extreme. She even tried to end her life over it. She had to be rushed to the emergency room. I was absolutely terrified. From that day on, I never dared to mention going home again. We'd been together since we were toddlers. I really didn't want to cause them any pain. I thought the 3 of us would live happily like that forever. But then Sunlin, the fake young master my parents adopted, suddenly claimed he wanted to build a good relationship with me. And then he just moved in with us, bags and all. At first, both Ruyen and Shiren were very cold toward him. But not long after he arrived, we all went on a trip together, and were caught in a mountain fire. I risked my life to save Ruyen and Shiren while they were unconscious. Then I asked him to stay and look after them. Meanwhile, because my wounds became severely infected, I had to be moved to a city hospital over 100 kilometers away. I never expected Sunlin would lie and say he was the one who saved them, and that I was a coward who abandoned them to save myself. Their attitude toward me and Sunlin flipped a full 180 degrees instantly. Bam! A violent kick at the door startled me awake. I had just barely opened my eyes when I saw Li Shiran storming into the room in a towering rage. You pushed Sunlin into the water. He's so terrified that his hands are still shaking even now. Do you think pretending to be sick will help you escape punishment? Go and apologize to him right this instant. I'm not pretending. I almost drowned back there. I have a high fever and pneumonia now. He almost got me killed today. I have nothing but pure hatred for him in my heart. I don't care if he likes me or not anymore, but I still force myself to offer an explanation. If I don't, who knows what else she'll do in her blind fury. But Li Shiran didn't believe a single word I said. Don't give me that. You've known how to swim since you were 6. Besides, that pool is so shallow. You couldn't drown in it even if you didn't know how to swim. You're quite the actor, aren't you? Why don't you just become a professional actor? Now, follow me. Apologize to Sunlin right now. Hearing that made me feel like I was going to choke on my own frustration, just to save her from that flash flood years ago, along with Liu Ruyen. I had completely exhausted myself. I was almost swallowed by the raging water. Since then, I've had an extreme phobia of water. I never dared to step foot in a swimming pool again. But no matter how many times I explain, they absolutely refused to believe me. I suppressed my anger and spoke in a raspy voice. Let me finish this IV drip first, then I'll go. Does that satisfy you? The past 2 years have taught me to stop trying to defend myself. I learned to be silent and just compromise with reality. I thought this would be enough to satisfy Li Shiran. To my horror, she violently ripped the IV needle out of my arm. Then she ordered the guards to drag me out of my hospital bed. The needle tore a large patch of skin off the back of my hand, exposing the raw, red flesh underneath. Sharp pain made me gasp and suck in a breath of cold air. Yet Li Shiran just watched as if she didn't see a thing. She coldly ordered the guards to force me out of the room. She used to say we were close siblings, even without blood ties. She'd say if anyone ever dared to bully, she'd be the first person to make them pay. How laughable. I really was such a fool to have actually believed those empty, hollow promises. Clutching my bleeding hand, I was dragged into Sunlin's hospital room. The moment I entered, my eyes fell on the hospital bed. Sunlin was sitting there, looking smug, and my girlfriend was gently embracing him, whispering sweet words of comfort to him. It's going to be okay, Sunlin. I'll always be here by your side. In the past, Ruyen always kept a clear distance from other men, only because she was afraid of making me feel bad. But now, right here in front of me, she can openly and nonchalantly embrace another man. My hand was clearly suffering from a gruesome wound. Blood was still dripping steadily onto the floor. Yet Ruyen was only concerned with coddling and seeking justice for Sunlin. Your hand is injured like that. I bet it hurts quite a lot, doesn't it? But trying to act pitiful won't do you any good now. Since you hurt Sunlin, you must bow and apologize to him. And sorry. Is that enough? I've completely given up on trying to explain anything to her. Now I just want to get this apology over with as fast as possible, so I can get back to my room and continue my IV. Sunlin heard it, but he intentionally ignored me. He just kept pretending to tremble all over his body. Seeing this, Ruyan was overcome with unbearable distress. In this freezing cold weather, how could you have the heart to push Sunlin into the pool? A half-hearted apology like this isn't nearly enough. I almost lost my own life as well. Isn't that enough for you? My heart suddenly tightened with waves of agony. So what exactly do you want me to do? Ruyan hesitated for a brief moment. It seemed like there was something difficult she wanted to say. Sunlin feigned a look of pure disappointment. Ruyan, if you don't want to do it, then let it go. Don't force him. Ruyan let out a soft sigh. Then she turned to me and said, Sunlin has long dreamed of entering the international jewelry design competition, but right now he doesn't have a piece he's truly satisfied with. I think the collection of designs you have is quite good. So I've decided to give them to him. That's fine, isn't it? I absolutely do not agree. That collection is my heart and soul, created through countless sleepless nights. It's the culmination of 5 years of hard-earned inspiration. It's like my own child. She's the one who said those drafts looked okay, and asked to borrow them just to take a look. I only gave those designs to him because I trusted her. What right do you have to just give my work away to someone else? But Ruyan didn't care about my fierce opposition at all. It doesn't matter if you agree or not. It won't change anything. I will submit these drafts under Sunlin's name to this year's International Jewelry Design Competition. Hearing that, I was nearly driven insane with rage. If you dare to do that, then I'll immediately sue him for plagiarizing my original designs. All the evidence is still in my hands. You've already deleted all those photos of the drafts, haven't you? What do you have left to prove that Sunlin plagiarized you, Fang Yuan? Just listen to me. You've already wronged Sunlin anyway, so just consider this a gift to make it up to him. Ruyan's words were so casual and light, yet they made my entire body shiver with a profound coldness. Every ounce of strength in me instantly evaporated. For 3 long, agonizing years, I truly believed she was just being deceived by Sunlin. At most, I only felt a little disappointed in her. But now, with her demanding my designs, and forcing me to delete the photos I kept on my phone, I had patiently endured and followed all her demands. Yet I never imagined she was secretly plotting against me all along. But what she doesn't know is that on every single draft she holds, I secretly wrote my name using invisible ink. She wants to use my blood, sweat, and tears to polish his reputation and build a genius designer image for Sunlin. The award day for that competition will be the day Sunlin's plagiarism is exposed. I had to suppress the mockery and the rage rising within me. Since President Liu has already planned everything so carefully, then why did you even bother coming here to ask for my opinion? But please remember one thing. From now on, we are completely even. I don't owe you anything anymore. Normally, I always called her by the intimate name, Yan Yan. I had never used such a distant title before. President Liu. Ruyan's brow furrowed slightly upon hearing it. It looked like she wanted to say something, but the moment Sunlin claimed he wasn't feeling well, she and Li Shuren rushed over to fuss over him. Exactly like the way they used to compete for my attention in the past. Before, seeing this would have broken my heart, but now I feel nothing but pure disgust and revulsion. A girlfriend who's in a relationship but ready to stray emotionally. A childhood friend who nearly killed me over a fake piece of trash. No matter who it is, they both make me sick to my stomach. I suppressed the discomfort overwhelming my body and soul, and quickly stepped out of that suffocating hospital room. But in the end, I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I collapsed, my shoulders trembling violently. I clutched my aching chest with one hand, vomiting so hard it felt like my very soul was being torn apart. Why did I ever abandon my own family for those 2 disgusting people? That evening, my mother sent me the wedding itinerary to review. Fan Yuan, does this look okay? The ceremony can be whatever you want, Mom, as long as this helps our family, and as long as I can leave this city of Haishi and its painful memories behind. I remained hospitalized for a full week of treatment. Meanwhile, Shiran and Ruyan were constantly by Sunlin's side in the next room. Distance between us was barely a meter, yet they didn't stop by to check on me even once. But whatever, it doesn't even matter to me anymore. After being discharged from the hospital, the first thing I did was go home to pack my belongings. All I longed for now was to leave this place as quickly as possible. I took every single sentimental item that Ruyan and Shiran had given me and put them up for sale on a second-hand site. Then I met my best friend for a farewell meal. What? You're going back to Jingxi? And you're never coming back after the wedding? Do Ruyan and Shiran know about this? Will they even let you go? Dong Yanghui was so shocked he dropped his food. It wasn't surprising he had such a strong reaction, because everyone close to me knew one thing for certain, that Ruyan and Shiran were the most important people in my life. I quietly served him some more lamb. They don't know a thing yet, and I have absolutely no intention of telling them. Yang Hui absent-mindedly poked at the lamb on his plate. After the initial shock, his face lit up with pure joy. They insulted and hurt you so much for that fake loser. Leaving them behind for good is the best thing you can do. That's absolutely wonderful news. Not telling them is definitely the right move. So those two toxic people don't try to ruin everything. So when's the wedding? Just 5 days left. My mom actually just sent over some tuxedo designs for me to pick from. Take a look for me. I didn't even get to finish my sentence before I saw Ruyan striding toward us with a worried look on her face. What wedding? Who exactly is getting married? Sun Lin stood right beside her. He spoke in a surprised tone. Is it because you haven't proposed to him yet? So our brother here is resorting to forcing a marriage. Ruyan's brow furrowed in annoyance. Fang Yuan were both still young. I haven't even thought about getting married so soon. Looking at her desperate attempt to dodge the subject. Inside, I just found it all so pathetic and ironic. I remember when she was terrified it'd fall for someone else. She used to say that as soon as we were legally old enough, we'd get married immediately and build a life together. Yet later she was the one playing dumb, afraid that it'd one day pressure her into a wedding. I suppressed my impatience and gave a casual, dismissive reply. It's just a friend's wedding. I'm not the one getting married. Ruyan seemed to heave a massive sigh of relief at that. Then she casually walked away with Sun Lin. Ugh, what a terrible woman. Judging by her behavior, she doesn't have a single good intention left. Just wait until she finds out you're marrying someone else. Let her drown in her own belated regrets then. Yang Hui was so livid, he kept cursing them out on my behalf. He grabbed his phone, zoomed in on a photo and said, Fine. Let's not waste any more breath on those people. Hurry up and help me see which tux goes better with the bridesmaid dresses. My plan was simple. Meet my best brother. Pack my bags and head straight to Jingshe to get married. There were only a few short days left. I thought nothing else would happen before I left. However, not long after Ruyan and Sun Lin left, photos of them and Shiran entering a hotel surfaced. Then they all went to an andrology clinic together. Shocking news from the infectious disease department went viral instantly. Since Shiran is a somewhat famous B-list celebrity, she has a massive following online. Thus, this scandal immediately shot to the top of the search charts. I had just finished picking out the wedding tux and best man's suit with Yang Hui when the breaking news notification popped up on my screen. Ruyan hasn't even officially broken up with you yet. How can she be messing around like this already? She's truly a monster. Fang Yuan, aren't you even a little bit sad? If you're not feeling okay, you can talk to me, you know. Don't just joke around. Keeping it all bottled up will make you sick eventually. Yang Hui was genuinely worried about my state of mind. I quietly closed the news page. In the past, I would have been devastated and heartbroken, but now, I don't feel anything at all. If I still deeply cared about everything Ruyan did, I would have been driven insane by her a long time ago. I finally made peace with everything in my heart. Whether Shiran or Ruyan want to be with Sun Lin, I couldn't care less. Even if the three of them wanted to live together, it has nothing to do with me anymore. However, on my way back home, I noticed many strangers giving me incredibly strange looks. It made me feel extremely uncomfortable and a bit creeped out. I really couldn't fathom what on earth was going on, until I accidentally opened a new news notification. It turns out Ruyan and Shiran publicly claimed that I was the one with the STD. They were shamelessly shifting the blame onto me to protect Sun Lin and themselves. On top of that, Sun Lin posted a lengthy entry on his social media. Every word subtly hinted at a disgusting truth, that I used to work as a gigolo at cheap nightclubs. So it wasn't surprising that I ended up with such a filthy disease. Now the entire internet seems to believe the lie that I was a gigolo, and that I was unlucky enough to get infected. I thought 3 years of horror had hardened me and made me calm, so that I could face any storm life threw at me. But seeing those pictures, I couldn't contain my rage at their sheer audacity. My face flushed red with resentment and anger. I rushed home, but Shiran was nowhere to be found. Nor was Ruyan there. I saw Sun Lin wearing a mask and a hat to cover his face. In a blind fury, I headed straight for the Liu family villa. Sun Lin was the one who heartlessly stole my life's work for that competition, and ironically, those designs had made it all the way to the finals. Right now, Ruyan and Shiran are gleefully throwing a grand party for him, all to celebrate that filthy, stolen victory. At this big celebration of mine, neither you nor dogs are allowed to step foot inside. Get out of my sight right now. Otherwise, don't blame me when I call security to drag you out by the neck. Sun Lin, wearing the luxury Rolex he took from me, blocked my path. I remember when he used to be so cautious, afraid it'd secretly record him. So even when it was just the two of us, he'd maintain that terrifyingly fake, gentle facade. He'd never dared to use such toxic and vile language before, but this time was different. He had completely dropped the act. I tried to suppress the explosion of rage in my chest. You don't need to go through the trouble of calling security. I just want to clear a few things up, then I'll leave immediately. About that hospital checkup. You were clearly the one who needed to be in the infectious disease department. So why did you heartlessly make me your scapegoat? I've already let you take everything precious I ever had. Even the designs I spent 5 years perfecting have fallen into your hands. So why even now can't you just let me go? Ever since I was accidentally separated from my family, parents decided to adopt that boy, Sun Lin. Because of that, he lived in luxury, enjoying my place for all those years. But deep down, I never felt a shred of envy or jealousy toward him. Even after I was officially welcomed back to the Fang household, I never intended to fight him for anything, or take back any of the benefits that were given to him. I really don't understand what I did to wrong Sun Lin. That would make him want to destroy me so viciously. He's clearly targeting me. I could hear the malice in his voice. Suddenly, Sun Lin became extremely agitated, his emotions surging. Don't you dare act like you're some kind of kind, forgiving saint. Everything I have today, I earned through my own hard work. Who told you to be so stubborn and refuse to go back and marry that vegetable? If you refuse her, then obviously that burden falls on my shoulders. Let me tell you, I will absolutely never accept that fate. My parents never had any intention of forcing you to marry her. Do you think I'm a child you can easily trick with those lies? Isn't it because your Fang family's capital chain is in a major crisis? Right now, only the Bai family has the power to save you people. They pity their only son too much to marry him off as a sacrificial pawn. So in the end, they heartlessly plotted to dump the whole mess on me. Humph, and they dare call themselves noble philanthropists after that. Ha, how ridiculous. My parents have always treated him so well. What right does he have to insult and slander them like that in front of me? The rage flared up, making my eyes burn red with fury. Suddenly, Sun Lin let out a loud, terrified scream. And then he abruptly crumpled to the ground in a shocking display. He cried out for help as if something truly horrifying were happening. The glass in his hand dropped, shattering into 1,000 pieces. And in the very next second, I felt a violent shove from behind. Shirin had heartlessly knocked me to the floor. Fang Yuan, haven't I warned you strictly many times already? You are absolutely forbidden from bullying Sun Lin ever again. If you dare touch even a single hair on his head one more time, and get the hell out of my house right now. Go back to being that pathetic orphan that nobody wants. The fall made my head slam violently against the cold stone wall. Everything began to spin, and my vision started to go dark in waves. My palms stung as sharp shards of glass dug deep into my flesh. The piercing pain left me choking on words I couldn't even speak. Yet Shirin was utterly cold, not even bothering to give me a single glance. I tried to push through the pain and haul myself up from the freezing floor. Unexpectedly, Sun Lin suddenly pulled her away with total finality. In the distance, Ruyan had witnessed the entire horrifying scene with her own eyes. She began to hurry over toward us, but I knew better. Her motive was absolutely not out of worry or care for me, but worried that I would cause a scene. Liu Ruyan, who was always so gentle and virtuous, roughly dragged me out of the banquet hall. Fang Yuan, today is Sun Lin's celebration party. Can you please stop causing trouble? Aren't they just a few design sketches? You can just redraw them later. That was 5 years of my life's work. How many 5-year periods does a person have in their life? I pushed her away, screaming until my voice was hoarse. I didn't come here today because Sun Lin stole my designs, but because of that filthy social disease trending on the hot search. Clearly wasn't me. Why did you throw this filth at me? Lower your voice. Sun Lin is a future international gold medalist. If people find out he has that disease, his reputation will be ruined. How could he ever face anyone again? Liu Ruyan is clearly my girlfriend. Yet she took another man to a hotel, played around in a threesome, took him to get checked for social diseases, and then framed me for it. And yet, she doesn't feel a shred of guilt. She only knows how to turn around and blame me. I've never hated her as much as I do right now. What about me? Don't you think I care about being cursed by the world? The award winner isn't you anyway. It doesn't matter if they insult you a bit. You don't need to worry about your reputation. I will marry you in the future. My dowry is enough for you to live in luxury for the rest of your life. Liu Ruyan spoke so casually, as if this were just a trivial matter not worth mentioning. Ever since that flash flood, she always took hurting me for Sun Lin's sake for granted. I looked at her face, still so familiar, but it felt so foreign to me now. Liu Ruyan must have felt a pang of guilt. She avoided my gaze. Fang Yuan, just take care of yourself. If you keep pausing a scene, I will break up with you. Then let's break up. This wasn't the first time I said those words. She thought I would eventually come crawling back to beg for forgiveness. So she didn't even care. She just glanced at me and walked away. Through the glass, I saw Sun Lin holding the trophy. surrounded by Li Shiran and Liu Ruyan in the center. He was enjoying the glory that rightfully belonged to me, along with my friendships and my love. Noticing my gaze, Sun Lin shot me a provocative look. Not long after, my phone vibrated. A message came from Sun Lin. You grew up with two women, yet you couldn't even hold on to their hearts. You really are a piece of trash. Every time I see them bullying you, you look so pathetic and weak. You're a disgrace to men. Oh, by the way, your designs seem capable of winning me that gold medal. They'll make me famous all over the world. There's no point in being mad enough to die. Why don't you just go home? Your designs have to take the fall for me, along with that social disease thing. He hurriedly unsent the message right after sending it. Still the same as always. I gripped the phone tightly in my hand. I hope he can still be this arrogant when his plagiarism is exposed. And that the person with that filthy disease isn't me. There's absolutely no way I'm taking the blame for this. I contacted a private investigator. I told him to find a way to get Sun Lin's medical records from the hospital. Understood. Oh, by the way, I've already obtained evidence of that Sun guy framing you multiple times. But there's so much material, it'll probably take a few days to organize everything. It's fine. When you're finished with it, you can just send it to me then. I'm in no hurry. I had spent a large sum to hire a famous private investigator. Originally, I wanted to quickly find proof that Sun Lin staged everything to harm me, in order to expose his true face. I once wanted to clear up the misunderstandings with Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran, but from the moment Li Shiran pushed me into the pool, and Liu Ruyan just stood by and watched me almost drown without helping, I have completely lost all hope in them. I no longer care how they see me, so there's no need to rush. I gave a self-deprecating laugh, put my phone away, and headed back to my place. My luggage was mostly packed. Only a few things left. I didn't want to leave a single trace in this house. Pack what I want to keep. Throw away what I don't. Cleaned up until the very end, except for the 20-inch suitcase beside me. The only things belonging to me in this house were a thick photo album and a glass jar. In the album were photos of me with Li Shiran and Liu Ruyan from childhood until adulthood. They used to say we had to take at least 100 photos together every year, so that when we're old, we'd have something to look back on. But they've broken that promise for the past 3 years. These colorful paper cranes were also a gift they folded together for me. They said each crane could grant me one wish with them. But when I was framed by Sun Lin, I took out the jar of cranes, hoping they would believe me. Instead, they trampled on those cranes and told me to stop being so childish. I took the album and the cranes outside, piled them up, and set them on fire. What do you think you're doing? When the fire was almost out, Li Shiran returned. She angrily pushed me aside. Ignoring the burning flames, she rushed in to save the album and the cranes. Her face, which was usually calm and expressionless, now Liu Ruyan's face also turned pale. She let go of Sun Lin, who was leaning against her, and ran straight toward the fire. But the album was already burnt to a crisp. The paper cranes were nothing more than a pile of ashes. Li Shiran held those ashes in her hands. She turned her head and looked at me. Her eyes were bloodshot. Are you crazy? Why did you burn all of this? Do you have any idea how many years it took to collect these? Liu Ruyan also looked at me with total disapproval, staring right at me. I didn't want to be scolded, and I didn't want to be beaten. So I gave the excuse I had prepared. Those old photos weren't printed very well. I have the digital copies, so I've asked a shop to reprint all of them. They'll be much clearer. They'll be delivered in a short while. Li Shiran and Liu Ruyan were about to scold me further, but Sun Lin suddenly let out a soft cry, so they immediately swarmed around him. The Tang Dynasty vase we just bought you. You didn't hold it properly. Is it broken? Did it hurt you? Liu Ruyan rushed to help him up. Li Shiran scolded him endearingly. You big dummy. Without us, how on earth would you survive? Sun Lin said, putting on an act. Don't just worry about me. Look, Fang Yuan is packing his luggage. Could you be so angry that he wants to leave? Li Shiran said without a second thought. He's an orphan who completely depends on me and Ruyan. If he leaves us, then where could he possibly go? So many times he's made mistakes. I've kicked him out, yet I've never seen him show even a bit of backbone. Liu Ruyan also burst out laughing. You don't need to worry. It's Fang Yuan's first time being in love. The one he loves is me. His greatest wish for years has been to marry me. How could he ever leave? She and Li Shiran were absorbed in coaxing Sun Lin. No one bothered to notice me. Over the past 3 years. In the beginning, when they first started hurting me, they felt guilty. They hated me because during the flash flood, I had supposedly abandoned them and left. They despised me, always saying I was bullying Sun Lin and twisting the truth. But they didn't want to let me go. Back then, I only wanted to expose Sun Lin's true nature, to explain everything clearly to them. No matter how much injustice I had to endure, I never once thought about leaving. Later on, they began to take it for granted, no longer caring about my feelings, and never worrying that I would ever leave. But regardless of what they thought, I didn't care in the slightest anymore. I didn't want to witness the three of them being so close anymore, so I went upstairs to sleep. The next morning, I woke up, got ready, and had breakfast. Then I picked up my suitcase, preparing to return to the capital. The wheels of the suitcase clattered against the floor. Liu Ruyan was the first to ask me, "Where are you going?" I didn't think she was actually concerned about me. Perhaps she was just afraid that if I ran away, then no one would be left to ghostwrite for Sun Lin. During the time I was in the hospital, she had already dismissed me. My position as design director was given to Sun Lin to replace me, and then she still wanted me to work as his assistant. My colleagues told me everything. I found it truly disgusting. Now, looking at Liu Ruyan's face, I only felt revulsion, but I didn't want to cause any more trouble, so I just said in a low voice, "Hui is getting married. I'm going to his wedding, but he's in this city. Why are you bringing a suitcase? His fiancée is from Jingcheng. The ceremony is being held over there. What day will you be back?" 3 days later. By then, your photos should be developed, right? Liu Ruyan was naturally a meticulous person, so she interrogated me thoroughly. Li Shiren stood by, losing patience, and urged, "It's not like he's not coming back anyway. Just leave him alone." Ruyan, Sun Lin said he wants to get a cat. He's waiting for us to go pick one out with him. Liu Ruyan. Usually, as soon as she hears about Sun Lin, she ignores me immediately. But this time, quite rarely, she added one last instruction. About that filthy social disease incident, having you take the blame for it. Me and Shiren, we owe you an apology. When you're about to come home, let me know in advance. I'll come to the airport to pick you up. I'll go with Ruyan to pick you up then. How does that sound? It was just that one little thing. Stop making such a fuss all the time, as if the world were coming to an end. Shiren's expression was also a bit awkward, so they actually knew they were in the wrong. I sneered inwardly, but I just replied with a simple, "Fine." Then I pulled my suitcase and walked straight out without once looking back. I will never cause a scene again, and I will never return to this place again. They will never ever be able to wait for me again. 5 p.m. The plane landed in Jingcheng. My parents came to the airport to meet me. Accompanying them was a beautiful woman sitting in a wheelchair. She looked like she was mixed race, with deep, soulful eyes. A high and delicate bridge of the nose. She was as beautiful as a Barbie doll. At first glance, I was stunned by her beauty. At second glance, I felt like she looked a bit familiar, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember where I'd seen her before. Fang Yuan. This is Ningbing, Bai Ningbing, the heir of the Bai family, and she is your future wife. After my father finished speaking, my mother leaned close to my ear. She whispered, "After you agreed to the marriage, Mrs. Bai only said one sentence to Miss Bai. She woke up that very same day. Isn't that just incredible? I'd only found out about this today myself. Hearing you were arriving today, Miss Bai insisted on coming to meet you. I also found it quite miraculous. Moreover, when I decided to get married, I was certain I would be marrying someone in a vegetative state. Now suddenly facing a flesh and blood fiancé. To be honest, it was a bit of a shock, and I was a bit confused about how to behave. Hello, Fang Yuan. In the end, it was Bai Ningbing who took the initiative to shake my hand. She spoke up to greet me. I hurriedly returned her handshake. Hello, Miss Bai. You can just call me Ningbing. I don't know if I was just imagining things, but did she seem to be holding my hand a little too long? And why was she staring at me so intently? Was there something on my face? I stole a glance in the rearview mirror to check. There was nothing. After getting in the car, Bai Ningbing sat right next to me. Liu Ruyan. Li Shiren used to manage me very strictly. I very rarely had such close contact with a strange woman. At this moment, I felt extremely awkward, but after all, she was my future wife. I felt I needed to explain something to her. The one with that filthy social disease is Sun Lin. There are rumors online that I was the one at the infectious disease ward. Do you want to sue them for defamation? Before removing the hot search, I had someone save all the evidence. It's enough to meet the criteria for a lawsuit. I was momentarily stunned, took out my phone to check. Sure enough, the hot search had been taken down. All the insults under my Weibo posts had also vanished completely. I was prepared for Bai Ningbing to be angry and disgusted with me. I never expected she wouldn't doubt me for a second. For a moment, my heart was filled with indescribable emotions. Our wedding is coming up soon. Let's figure it out after the ceremony is over. I'll do as you say, Bai Ningbing said. Then she changed the subject. Weren't you a jewelry design major before? She didn't push any further. The previous topic had made me feel quite awkward. That realization made me breathe a sigh of relief. Miss Bai, Ningbing, Ningbing, the pieces you designed before. I've seen your debut piece. I recall it was the tiara your best friend's sister wore for her coming-of-age ceremony, right? How did you know about that? Hearing this, I was truly astonished. I'm somewhat of a well-known jewelry designer now. But most people only care about the work I've done since I became famous. Even Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran don't even know what my first piece was. Bai Ningbing smiled softly. I saw it by chance back then. I liked it very much, so I specifically asked someone to look into it. I've never been much of a smooth talker, but when it comes to my work, it's an exception. Besides, she wasn't the type to just pretend she knew things. She had actually studied my creations. By the time we got out of the car, she and I could be considered somewhat familiar with each other. During dinner, this was the first time I met the members of the Bai family. They called it a merger of two families, but in reality, the Fang family was begging for the Bai family's help. If Bai Ningbing hadn't been in a vegetative state before, then an alliance with the Bai family would never have fallen to us. I thought the Bai family would be very aloof. Unexpectedly, everyone was incredibly warm and welcoming. My future father-in-law took my father's hand and called him in-law. Was the capital I invested the other day enough? If it's not, just say so. Given the relationship between our families, you must absolutely not be polite with me. My future mother-in-law held my hand, beaming like a flower. Look at this. Fang Yuan is so handsome. This is a 1% stake in the company for you. Go ahead and sign for it now. Consider it your premarital asset. Don't underestimate this 1% stake. The annual dividends alone are at least 50 million yuan. Even Ningbing only holds 10%. My hands trembled as I held the share transfer agreement. I intended to refuse. Truly, the Bai family had already given me far too much, but before the refusal could even escape my lips, Bai Ningbing had already flipped the contract to the signature page for me. She leaned in and whispered a reminder. Fang Yuan, sign it quickly, in case they change their minds later. To be honest, looking at her with that cold boss lady face, and then having her secretly whisper in my ear like that, the contrast was quite something. She shoved the fountain pen into my hand, along with a black card. This is for you. Your family has given far too much. I feel incredibly guilty taking all of this. Bai Ningbing's eyes sparkled with a smile. Because you deserve it. She and her family seemed very kind-hearted. Thanks to that, I gradually began to relax. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran didn't send a single message. On the contrary, that was for the best. No one would come to disturb my wedding. However, it seemed I had been too optimistic. Half an hour before the ceremony began, I was dressed in my suit, waiting backstage to go on. Suddenly, my phone started vibrating incessantly. Video call from Liu Ruyan cancelled. Video call from Liu Ruyan cancelled. Video call from Li Shiran cancelled. Li Shiran, Fang Yuan, answer the phone. Liu Ruyan, Fang Yuan, can you please answer the phone? I didn't know if they had caught wind of something, but they were frantically calling me on WeChat. I didn't answer and I didn't bother to text back, so they started calling my number directly. One call every 30 seconds, as if they wouldn't stop until I picked up. I frowned in annoyance at the harassment and decisively turned off my phone. The wedding officially began. Bai Ningbing took her father's arm. He solemnly placed her hand in mine. But just as we were about to exchange rings, Fang Yuan, Fang Yuan. Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran rushed into the wedding hall in a panic. They looked at me on the stage, wearing the groom's boutonniere. Both of their faces suddenly turned ashen. Their eyes were full of utter disbelief, as if I had done something treacherous, something that betrayed them. But what right did they have to look at me like that? Liu Ruyan and Sun Lin were practically doing it right in front of me. What made her think I would remain faithful to her forever? Li Shiran, just to vent her anger for Sun Lin, had almost killed me. Why did she think I still wanted to stay in Haicheng, and still regard her as my older sister? Seeing them about to rush forward to ruin my wedding, my mood became worse than ever. I'm sorry, Ningbing. Before I could even finish my apology, I saw Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran being dragged out by security, without causing any significant disruption to the ceremony. Bai Ningbing slid the wedding ring onto my finger. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I will absolutely not let anyone ruin our wedding. In her eyes, my reflection was mirrored. Her gaze was incredibly deep. At that moment, I suddenly had the illusion that she had been secretly in love with me for a long time. But before our marriage, I didn't even know her. How could that possibly be? I immediately dismissed that ridiculous thought from my head. The rest of the ceremony went very smoothly, until the evening banquet was about to begin. That's when Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran, along with Sun Lin, found their way there. Fang Yuan, come over here. I have something to say to you. Liu Ruyan looked at the groom's boutonniere still on my chest. Her face looked extremely unpleasant. I refused flatly. There's no need. I have nothing to say to you. I had never been so cold toward her before, as I was now. After a moment of shock, her face suddenly flushed red with anger. Just then, Bai Ningbing approached. Seeing them, she was about to order them to be removed immediately. But before she could speak, Li Shiran's face darkened and she quickly spoke first. Miss Bai, do you know why this marriage between you and Fang Yuan exists? It's because he snatched it away from Sun Lin. Furthermore, Fang Yuan has a girlfriend he's been with for 7 years. He hasn't even broken up yet, and he dares to marry you. Don't let yourself be deceived by this kind of villain. No wonder they dared to brazenly disrupt my wedding. It turns out it was all Sun Lin's dirty tricks. For 3 years, they've bullied me relentlessly for his sake. Is all that still not enough? I've already taken the initiative to stay away from them. Why do they still cling to me like this? How dare they even show their faces at my wedding? I really didn't want to lose my temper on my big day. Truly, I can't endure it any longer. Who says we haven't broken up? Liu Ruyan. On the very day you held that party for Sun Lin, you were the one who broke up with me. Or do you have senile dementia and forgotten everything? Liu Ruyan looked at me with an eyes full of discontent. I only said that in the heat of the moment. How could you possibly take it seriously? Fang Yuan, you can't just steal Sun Lin's fiancé just because you want to spite me. Doing that is completely wrong. You've always bullied him on a regular basis. He's generous, so he doesn't hold it against you. But your actions this time are truly too shameless. Slap. I finally couldn't hold back any longer. I swung my hand and landed a thunderous slap on her face. Rage rising within me made my head spin, to the point where I couldn't even speak. Sun Lin hurriedly rushed out to shield her, his face full of concern. Brother, even if you go crazy and hit people, you can't hide the truth. Frowned and turned to look at Bai Ningbing. Sister Ningbing, I've been secretly in love with you since I was a child. So when I heard you were in a vegetative state, and the Bai family wanted to find a Fang family's son for an arranged marriage, I didn't hesitate for a moment to agree. But I didn't expect that thanks to my good fortune, you would wake up right before the wedding. My younger brother, out of envy for such a good match, decided on his own, along with my adoptive parents, to step in and marry you in my place. I was so angry I burst out laughing. Are you sure? Sun Lin looked as if you were suffering in monumental injustice. Everything I just said is the absolute truth. That is enough. Fang Yuan, apologize to Sun Lin right now. And then, come back home with me. I can pretend this incident never even happened. Liu Ruyan put on an expression, as if I were the one who wronged her, yet she was acting all magnanimous, as if she were overlooking my faults. Li Shiran's face was filled with nothing but cold contempt. How truly pathetic. It's shameful. I really don't want to admit I have a younger brother like you. In the past, the three of them pushed me so hard that I spent countless nights awake in absolute heartbreak. Now I only find them to be utterly absurd and ridiculous. Sun Lin, you claim that I stole your marriage, but from the very beginning, the birth charts sent to the Bai family were mine. I was the one chosen by both families for this union. If I didn't want this arranged marriage, it would simply be cancelled. What does that have to do with you? Sun Lin gnashed his teeth in a fit of fury. But you used my birth chart. As soon as the words left his mouth, Bai Ningbing burst into laughter. I've had a crush on Fan Yuan for a long time, so after I fell into a vegetative state, my family specifically wanted him to marry me. Whatever his birth chart says, that is the exact chart the Bai family required. Why would he ever need to steal anything from you? She had a crush on me? Forget about the others. Even I was left completely stunned. Sun Lin was now completely stripped of any excuses. His face turned pale in an instant. Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran looked at him with frustration, deadly hoping he would say something more. I looked at them, finding the whole scene pathetic. Stop looking. Sun Lin is lying. And not just this time, but he has always been lying on purpose. Just to drive a wedge between us. Being toyed with like puppets and played like fools. Are you two satisfied now? Li Shiran was being pinned down by the bodyguards, struggling with all her might, but at that moment she seemed to lose all her strength, only able to stare at me with panic and unease. Liu Ruyan's face turned ashen in a split second. She stared intently at me, with an unprecedented look of fear and anxiety. Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran wanted to say something, but Bai Ningbing gave them no such opportunity. With a look of disgust, she ordered them and that man to be thrown out. Remember these three faces. I never want to see them again. Several bodyguards grabbed them to drag them out. Wait. I called for them to stop. A glimmer of hope flickered in Liu Ruyan's eyes. Fan Yuan, I knew in your heart you still. Don't flatter yourself. I cut her off sharply, looking at Sun Lin with pure revulsion. In front of everyone here today, there are a few things that need to be made clear. Sun Lin, an ungrateful wolf like you. Our Fang family has no place for you. From this day forward, you have no relation to the Fang family whatsoever. After speaking, I directly ordered for them to be expelled. Banquet began. Bride and groom offered a toast. Normally, Bai Ningbing and I would go around toasting the guests, but the Bays are a top-tier elite family. Few people were high status enough for the daughter and son-in-law of the Bai family to toast them personally. So in the end, I only accompanied Bai Ningbing to see a few elders, and then we were given leave to go and eat. Fang Yuan, you've been tired all day. Ningbing, take him to rest for a while. Go and eat something, dear. My mother-in-law held my hand, her heart aching for me. Anyone watching would think I had suffered terribly today. Bai Ningbing smiled and nodded. She led me to the head table. The dishes at this table were completely different from the others. Every single dish was something I loved. I glanced at Bai Ningbing and asked, "Did you have someone prepare all of this?" Bai Ningbing pulled out a chair for me, gesturing for me to take a seat. Watching her, from her wheelchair, busy herself for my sake, I suddenly felt a twinge of guilt, as if I were bullying a disabled person. Just let the servers do it. I can do it myself. Don't work so hard. How could I do that, if I let them do everything? How will you ever see how good I am to you? You don't think my secret crush on you is just a lie, do you? Bai Ningbing possessed the cold, elegant face of a queen, yet her direct approach left me completely at a loss for words. Sat down and stammered, about that, actually, we were in the same school from middle school all the way to college. Wait, really? I racked my brain for a memory, but I had no impression of her whatsoever. Bai Ningbing looked at my confused expression and couldn't help but laugh out loud. It's normal that you don't remember me. It makes sense. Your grades were always at the top of the grade. You were great at basketball, played the piano beautifully, and had a wonderful personality. There were so many girls who had a crush on you. I was just one of them. I even sent love letters, but like many others, they probably never reached your hands. There were several times I wanted to say hello, but I was always blocked by Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran. I finally managed to add you on WeChat, but I was deleted before I could even say a single word. Person in the story she told sounded like a stranger. Was I really that outstanding? Dong Yanghui was a close friend I'd only known for 2 years. Before that, the only people close to me were Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran. Even back when things were good between the three of us, they rarely ever praised me. I was stunned for a moment before saying, "I'm sorry. Liu Ruyan and I were together for 7 years. In the past, when we were still close, she was incredibly jealous and used to delete any female friends I had. It's all right. That was her fault, not yours. Besides, even if I get jealous, I won't act the way she did. Her behavior seems more like a character flaw than anything else." Is Bai Ningbing actually talking behind her back? I must have misunderstood. She doesn't seem like the type to belittle others to make herself look better. Besides, even if she hadn't said anything, I would never associate with Liu Ruyan or Li Shiran ever again. As much as I cared for them before, I despise them just as much now. The banquet came to an end. Bai Ningbing and I returned to the bridal chamber to rest. I took the initiative to explain. Today was just an unfortunate incident. I won't have anything to do with Liu Ruyan or Li Shiran from now on. Please don't be upset. Bai Ningbing smiled at me. Don't be so tense. It's okay even if you happen to run into them. Even though I like you, I still have to show you respect. I'll give you all the personal space you need. I trust that you know where the boundaries are. I was worried she might be uncomfortable, so I was about to suggest we sleep in separate rooms. But she suddenly began undressing right in front of me. I hurriedly grabbed a blanket to cover her up. Aren't you afraid I'll take advantage of you? You're the person I like. If you wanted to take advantage of me, that would only prove I have some charm in your eyes. I'd be too happy to care. Hearing that, I was suddenly reminded of Liu Ruyan. I had been with her since I was 18. She was incredibly jealous, never allowing me to go near anyone of the opposite sex and forbidding me from keeping their contact information. On so many occasions, she would open love letters written to me without permission, snoop through my messages, and delete my contacts. When I found out, I was furious. What you're doing is so disrespectful to me. Everyone needs their own private space. That was the first time I remember Liu Ruyan flying into a complete rage. Don't you know what those women want from you? You already have a girlfriend, so you should keep your distance, instead of giving them any hope. After Li Shiran found out, she also added, "My Yan did it because she cares about you too much. She only did it because she loves you so much. And yet you're starting a fight with her over this. How could anyone not be heartbroken by that? Go and apologize to her right now, and she'll forgive you." The people closest to me were them, and their entire families. Even the Li and Lu families told me that I was the one in the wrong. So I gradually began to believe that I really was wrong. After 6 months of dating, Liu Ruyen would, at most, let me hold her hand. She wouldn't even agree to a simple kiss. I had subtly mentioned it a few times, and she would get all huffy. Fang Yuan, are you just like every other man? Is that the only thing you ever think about? Do you love me for who I am, or do you just lust after my body? I exhausted myself explaining that I truly did love her, but she simply didn't believe me. If you really loved me, then you would know how to respect me, instead of just trying to sweet-talk me, just so I would sleep with you. It wasn't that I absolutely had to do anything with her. I just felt that since we'd been together for half a year, it was strange that she was still so resistant to even kissing. It made me doubt at times whether she actually liked me at all. I loved her. I wanted to kiss her. Was even that not allowed? I began to have serious doubts about myself. On top of that, Li Shiren criticized me as well. You're going to marry Yan Yan eventually anyway. Why can't you just wait until the wedding night? Yan Yan is just like any other girl. She only wants to save the best things for her wedding night. I was completely convinced by them. I once thought Liu Ruyen loved me, that she was just a bit jealous, and just too conservative. I once thought of Li Shiran as an older sister, someone who would absolutely never deceive me. But today, Bai Ningbing told me that to love someone is to respect them, and to grant them the private space they need. And if you truly love someone, you would never reject their intimacy. My mind was a chaotic mess of 100 different emotions. After finishing up, I planned to watch a few short videos, just to clear my head, to stop dwelling on those troubling things from the past. But as soon as I opened my phone, it was flooded with a barrage of messages, along with several missed call notifications. They were all from Liu Ruyen. I thought for a moment that she had realized Sun Lin's true nature and was calling to apologize to me. But when I opened them, an uncontrollable fury surged in my heart. Liu Ruyen wrote, I was almost fooled by you. I actually thought A Lin was a fraud. You really are as malicious as ever, deliberately trying to smear him. Liu Ruyen messaged again. A Lin already explained everything to Shiran and me. It was because your parents didn't explain things clearly, so he just misunderstood. Over such a small matter, how could you all say such cruel things at the wedding, and even kick him out of the Fang family? How is he supposed to show his face to anyone now? Liu Ruyen continued, and as for you, you're being far too petty. He just asked you to take the blame for his STD, that's all. Did you really have to get so angry? And run off to Jingxi to marry someone else? Liu Ruyen, I'm giving you one more chance. Publicly apologize to A Lin tomorrow, and admit that he's still the young master of the Fang family. Then quickly divorce Ms. Bai, and I might still let you be my boyfriend. It was only at this very moment that I realized just how wretched and narcissistic she truly was. Before I came to Jingxi, I had always thought that as long as I got away from her, it would be enough. No matter how much I hated her, I never had any intention of seeking revenge. But now I've discovered that if I only try to hide, that she will never stop pursuing and bullying me. I called Liu Ruyen directly. As soon as the call connected, she said smugly, I knew you'd come looking for me. Remember, only after you've fulfilled my demands within a day will I agree to keep seeing you. I gritted my teeth and said, who do you think you are? Bai Ningbing is 1,000, 10,000 times better than you. I have to be insane to leave her, just to go back to you. Fam Yuan. Liu Ruyen's voice shrieked with fury. What are you screaming for? Let me tell you something. Liu Ruyen, not only will I never let Sun Lin back into the Fang family, but I will expose every disgusting thing you people have ever done. From now on, don't you ever dream of bullying me again. I was usually clumsy with my words, and I never liked getting into conflicts, enduring whatever I could. If it hadn't been for them going too far, I wouldn't have expected that I could yell at someone like this. Liu Ruyen was clearly caught off guard. Her heavy, angry breathing was clearly audible, but I didn't give her a chance to speak, and immediately blocked every way she could contact me. Then I took the hospital surveillance footage obtained by the PI, along with the medical registration records, and posted them online. Fang Yuan at jewelry designer Sun Lin. Sun Lin, you had the nerve to live a debauched life and catch a social disease. The person who took 2 women into a hotel was you. You were the one at the hospital too, yet you made me take the fall. And you even mocked me. How can you be so thick-skinned? At Qiming Jewelry Design Studio at Li Shiren, Liu Ruyen, Li Shiran, if you two have problems with your vision and can't see people clearly, go see an ophthalmologist. Don't fail to recognize even your own bed partner, and then come out here to blame me for everything. Attached below was the surveillance video, medical registration records, and screenshots of messages where Liu Ruyen and Li Shiran insisted they had escorted me to the hospital. plus the link to Sun Lin's Weibo post slandering me as a gigolo who caught a disease. My profile had 200,000 followers, but I felt that wasn't enough, so I threw money down to buy a spot on the trending search list. Truly, what these three people did was beyond shameless. The moment the video was posted, the number of comments, shares, and likes skyrocketed. Before I even had a chance to lie down, Lee Shiren called me in a blind rage. "Are you out of your mind? Fang Yuan, how dare you post those things? Are you tired of living? If they can throw mud at me, then why can't I tell the truth?" I had no desire to waste time arguing with her. "The ones tired of living are you people, Lee Shiren. Before midnight tomorrow, the three of you must publicly apologize to me. Otherwise, I will immediately sue you for defamation. Let's see if you enjoy serving time in jail. No one is going to listen to your trashy words. Shut your mouth. You had better know when to stop. I haven't pushed you to the brink yet, which has already shown you far too much mercy." Previously, I didn't want to turn my back on Liu Ruyan and Lee Shiren, because I always thought I grew up thanks to the help of their two families, so I couldn't seek revenge against them for personal reasons. But they were becoming more and more outrageous, treating me like I was nothing. No matter how deep our past feelings were, they have completely run dry. After venting my anger, I immediately blocked all contact from Lee Shiren and Sun Lin. I had only been focused on blocking Liu Ruyan before. I forgot about these two. Once it was done, I put my phone on silent and went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, my video was still sitting firmly at the #1 spot on the trending list. Liu Ruyan, Lee Shiren, and Sun Lin were being torn apart by netizens. I took a quick glance, then took my phone with me to have breakfast. Bai Ningbing was sitting in her wheelchair reading, and when she saw me, she put down her book and came over. She asked the helper to serve me a bowl of wontons and chicken broth, then asked me, "I saw the news on the trending list this morning. Did they provoke you again? Will this cause any trouble? I'll have someone take it down in a bit." Because I was so angry last night, that was why I acted that way. Only then did I remember that elite families value their reputation highly. Previously, when I was drugged and molested by Lee Shiren's aunt, the Lee and Liu families wouldn't allow me to call the police. Liu Ruyan said, "You're going to marry me in the future, so you must be mindful of the public opinion around you." Lee Shiren said, "The Lee family is an elite family here. Doing that would make the Lee family a laughingstock. If the Lee and Liu families cared that much, let alone a top-tier family like the Bais." But Bai Ningbing stopped me from making the call. "You were being bullied. Fighting back is absolutely the right thing to do. I just want to apologize to you. You are my husband, yet when you were being picked on, I had no idea. It's truly my fault. I didn't expect her to be completely different from the Lee and Liu families. I was momentarily dazed. You don't need to apologize. This had nothing to do with you. Husband and wife are one. Your business is my business. In the future, please just tell me everything." I lowered my head and gave a soft okay, but in my heart, I didn't plan on doing so. Relying on anyone is never as good as relying on yourself. I never want to depend on others again. The feeling of being stabbed in the back is just too painful. After breakfast, Bai Ningbing went to do her rehabilitation exercises. Before we married, she had discussed it with me. She wanted to wait until she had fully recovered like a normal person before going on our honeymoon. She didn't want our first trip together to be spent with me working hard to take care of her everywhere. After Bai Ningbing left, I sat idly playing the piano for a while. My phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello, who is this?" "Fang Yuan, it's me. Don't you know? Because of you, everyone is cursing Alin now. He's so heartbroken. He even wants to commit suicide." Liu Ruyan's voice came from the other end. Hearing her nag made me irritated. "Is he dead yet? If he really dies, I'll attend the funeral." "Fang Yuan, you weren't like this before. Why have you become so malicious?" "About the social disease. Asking you to take the blame was our fault. But usually you're always bullying Alin, so isn't it only right that you help him take the fall once? Isn't that what you should do? How could you release the truth and let so many people insult Alin like this?" This wasn't the first time I've been scolded by her like this. I should have hung up immediately, so I wouldn't have to hear any more of this person's biased and ridiculous accusations. But I felt too indignant to just let it go. "You and Lee Shiren always claim I harmed Sun Lin. Did you ever once see me bully him with your own eyes? Why do you and Lee Shiren only believe him and not me? You've always targeted me because of Sun Lin. Have you ever considered? If he has been lying to you all along, how much humiliation you've forced me to endure. If one day you realize the person who saved your life was actually me, how are you going to face me?" By the end, I was almost shouting into the phone, but Liu Ruyan replied without a second thought. "Stop trying to twist the truth. Alin is so kind-hearted. He would never know how to deceive anyone, and he would certainly never harm anyone else. So I'm the one who's always harming people. I took a deep breath, not wanting to continue this pointless argument. The disgusting things you did deserve the insults you're getting. Don't call again. It's useless. If I don't see public apologies from the three of you by midnight, I will file a lawsuit in court. Fang Yuan. I decisively hung up and set my phone to block all calls from unknown numbers. I didn't even have the heart to play the piano anymore. After about half an hour, Liu Ruyan, Li Shiren, and Sun Lin finally made public apologies to me online. But as soon as their apology statements were posted, news that I plagiarized and bullied Sun Lin, along with him winning a gold medal in an international competition, shot to the top of the search rankings. This completely overshadowed their apologies. Sun Lin appeared before the camera with a hoarse voice, looking incredibly haggard. I'm sorry for disturbing everyone's online space, but I really have no other choice. Just today, the International Jewelry Competition jury notified me that my entry won the gold medal. I should be happy that my hard work and talent have been recognized. However, I can't bring myself to be happy at all, because all these years, all my works were stolen by Fang Yuan. Those were my heart and soul, and yet they were stolen by my foster parents, just to give them all to their biological son, just to build his image as a design genius. All the evidence was completely destroyed by them. I have no way to clear my name, but on this day I become a gold medalist. I still want to say it all. If I don't, I think I'll go crazy. If it were just Sun Lin's video alone, many people would likely still be skeptical. But then Liu Ruyan used her verified studio account to post an official announcement of my dismissal, and then Li Shiren while participating in a live stream for a hit entertainment show. Accusations of me plagiarizing and bullying Sun Lin have made the entire internet explode. Both CEO Liu and Li Shiren, they are all Fang Yuan's childhood friends. CEO Liu even dated him for 7 long years. There is no way they would ever falsely accuse him. If the plagiarism story is true, Fang Yuan won't be able to show his face in this industry ever again. His 2 closest friends certainly wouldn't use a matter like this as a joke. Just how terrible must he have been, to make even his 2 best friends unable to stand him anymore? I am a jewelry design student. I just looked at Sun Lin's award-winning series, along with Fang Yuan's design drafts from over the years. Styles are exactly the same. What a waste of talent. I used to consider Fang Yuan my idol. I never expected he would just steal other people's work. In an instant, the entire internet was filled with insults directed at me. Bai Ningbing stopped her rehabilitation exercises and walked toward me with a frown. She could be considered a hardcore fan of mine. I thought that when my image collapsed, she would also question me in anger like all the other fans. Instead, Bai Ningbing only asked, "Do you have proof that he stole your work to enter the competition? If you do, please give it to me. I'll arrange to make it public immediately to clear your name. And then we'll find a lawyer to file a lawsuit. You don't doubt me? Why would I doubt you? You're not that kind of person," she answered without a single moment of hesitation. Seeing her absolute trust in me, a spark of warmth suddenly surged in my heart. I have proof that he stole my work, so don't worry too much. But I'll have to trouble you with something. How fortunate that she isn't like Liu Ruyan or Li Shiren. She's willing to believe in me. Half an hour later, I connected to a live stream to confront Sun Lin. The entire screen was flooded with insults directed at me. Bai Mingbing's face hardened, her silent gaze full of murderous intent. "It's okay," I whispered to reassure her, "but I don't like seeing anyone insulting you." Bai Ningbing took over as the moderator, ruthlessly muting everyone who was attacking me. When Liu Ruyan and Li Shiren criticized me, their words were many times more vicious than the netizens. Comments of the netizens couldn't hurt me, but seeing Bai Ningbing care for me like this, I still felt quite happy. However, Sun Lin and Liu Ruyan in their live stream room were not happy at all. Sun Lin looked at me, trembling with fear, as if he had to struggle to muster the courage to speak. My brother, with so many righteous netizens helping me this time, you only need to admit your fault and give me an apology. All I want is a simple apology." Liu Ruyan also blared at me with a darkened face. Only A Lin would be this generous. "Ayun, you should know when enough is enough." Previously, when she defended Sun Lin unconditionally, I felt heartbroken. But now I only feel utter disgust. I didn't even bother with her, and instead looked directly at Sun Lin. "Are you certain that all my previous works were stolen from you? Never mind those old works, even this competition entry, if I had let you see it, it probably would have been snatched away by you two. I originally considered you all as my true family. I never expected you 3 would treat me this way." Sun Lin's voice choked up, nearly in tears by the end. Liu Ruyan distressedly handed him a tissue. "Don't cry anymore. Everyone knows the truth now. He only wants an apology, nothing else. Yet you still push back on even this, young brother. Are you truly that unwilling?" Sun Lin's tears fell profusely. On the screen, the insults against me became increasingly intense. I didn't bother looking at the chat box and just looked coldly at Liu Ruyan. Sun says, he is certain that I plagiarized him. What about you? CEO Liu, do you have anything? A hint of guilt flashed in Liu Ruyan's eyes, and she didn't answer immediately. But when Sun Lin glanced at her with reddened eyes, she immediately frowned and said, Yuan, stop trying to make excuses. All of your design drafts, Shiran and I saw Lin draw them with our own eyes. You did wrong, so can't you just apologize peacefully? I didn't reply to her. Simply took out my phone and unblocked Li Shiran's number. I called her and turned on the speaker. Li Shiran. Everyone is saying I plagiarized. What do you think? Li Shiran snapped at me as usual. Lin only asked for an apology. If you have any sense, just apologize to him. She didn't answer my question directly, so I repeated it again, making it even more specific than before. Liu Ruyan says that you and she saw Lin draw those drafts with your own eyes, but I ended up taking them. Is that true? Since the moment my face appeared on the screen, the netizens had been hurling insults relentlessly. In the chat box at this moment, the verbal abuse was becoming even more toxic. Stop asking questions. Crazy fool. 2 of his best friends have testified. How can he still be so stubborn? You plagiarizing dog. Hope your whole family drops dead. They say men don't cry easily, unless they're in real pain. If you hadn't bullied Sun Lin so terribly, if you hadn't gone too far, then a man like him wouldn't be crying like that in front of the camera. No matter how many times you ask, Liu Ruyan and Li Shiren wouldn't conspire you to help you lie. How annoying. It's just an apology. Yet this scumbag keeps stalling. No matter how long you drag this out, it won't change the fact that you're a plagiarist. Right in front of Liu Ruyan and all these citizens, you despicable person still refuse to admit it even at death's door. Treating Lin like trash. I wonder how much you and that damn couple tortured Lin behind his back. Truly low life. No wonder Liu Ruyan and Li Shiren chose to side with Sun Lin even as childhood friends. If I were him, I would have killed myself long ago. So thick-skinned and shameless. The chat box scrolled by rapidly. Li Shiran's coarse voice came through the other end. It's true. It's true. It's absolutely true. I've said it 3 times now. So did you hear it clearly? You've bullied Lin for years and even stole his design drafts. You owe him. You won't be able to pay back what you owe him in a lifetime. Now apologize to him this instant. Sun Lin's eyes were filled with triumph and provocation, but he said in a choked voice, That's right. My younger brother, am very generous. You only need to say one apology to me. I waited for him to finish before speaking. After Liu Ruyan took my design drafts, she told me to burn all the originals, delete all the photos. Did you think that would leave me with no evidence? Brother, why are you still trying to turn black into white at this late hour? I lost patience and cut him off. Sun Lin, every time I finish a design, I like to write my name on it using invisible ink. Now let's connect with the judges for an on-site verification to see if what I say is true or false. When the split screen showed the venue of the gemstone design competition, Sun Lin's hand froze while reaching for a tissue, his eyes filled with panic, and his face turned as pale as a corpse. When a flame was held near his competition entry drafts, my name appeared clearly on every single page. His eyes rolled back, and he fainted on the spot immediately. This time, Liu Ruyan didn't rush to carry him to the hospital, but stood there frozen, staring at me in shock. The chat box suddenly froze for a second, followed by an explosion of comments that covered the entire screen, to the point that nothing could be seen. I didn't bother reading the comments, but looked directly into the camera and said, Liu Ruyan, Li Shiran, slandering me and making false accusations like that. Is it fun? Taking this opportunity today, I'm also officially letting you 2 know. I will be officially suing both of you and Sun Lin for plagiarism, as well as for your repeated defamation and slander. I look forward to the day you all end up in prison. After saying that, I ended the live stream. But the call with Li Shiran hadn't been disconnected. She was screaming in rage from the other end. Fang Yuan, you've harmed Lin so many times. So what if you took a few of your designs? So what? That's just what you owe him. You shameless, thick-skinned brat. If you dare sue him for plagiarism, then I swear I'll ruin your reputation and make your life a living hell. Little Rian also chimed in with irritating advice. There's no need to make such a big deal. You're the one in the wrong here. If you hadn't hurt Lin over and over again, would he have been angry enough to take your designs to the competition? In the end, you still owe him, and you must make amends. One after another, you owe Sun Lin. Then you must make amends. I've heard these 2 phrases until my ears are tired of them. Even my nightmares are filled with them insulting me. I tried my best to explain everything, but not a single one of them believed me. I truly feel utterly disgusted. Your conceited criticism. Instead of wasting time demanding justice for Sun Lin, you should worry about yourselves first. That arrogant posture of helping Sun Lin lie earlier. Your smug faces have been seen by the entire internet. You didn't think you'd get away with this scot-free, did you? I hung up, and then threw Li Shiren's number back into the blacklist. Earlier, I intentionally called them out to expose their true colors to the world. If they had even a shred of conscience left, even a bit of pity for me, then this fire of rage wouldn't have reached them. But since they casually helped Sun Lin slander and frame me, then they should go to hell right along with him. Are you all right? Bai Ningbing, sitting beside me, asked with concern. I smiled. I'm fine. They're the ones who aren't fine. If you feel pained, then don't force a smile. Don't hold back your tears if you want to cry. I'm really okay. I've shed too many tears over Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran already. From now on, I won't cry another drop for them. In contrast, Bai Ningbing is clearly a cold boss lady. Yet at this moment, the tip of her nose was red, and her voice was choked with emotion. To someone who didn't know, it would look as if she were the one being bullied. Looking at her like this, my anger toward Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran suddenly vanished. It all strangely turned into mist and drifted away. Bai Ningbing hesitated for a moment, then stopped advising me and said, I want to buy some clothes. Do you have time to come with me? Let's go. She said she was shopping for herself, but once we reached the mall, she dragged me straight into a men's suit shop. How's this one? And this one? What about this one too? Bai Ningbing selected several suits in a row, asking the staff to bring them down for me to try on. I was bewildered. Weren't we buying things for you? There aren't any new styles lately, so there's nothing worth buying. But I already have plenty of suits. That's different. None of those clothes were bought by me for you. If I say that, then I'm being quite a negligent wife. Bai Ningbing's sudden self-reflection made me both amused and touched. Although we are married, in reality we've only known each other and been together for less than 5 days. How could she have had a chance to buy me a suit? But Bai Ningbing didn't care about that at all. She said to the staff, bring one of every suit style here and send them to the Bai residence for me. Whether it was the Fang family or the Liu family, even the Li family was very well off, but none of them dared to spend money this extravagantly. I quickly stopped her. Wait, I don't need all that. Bai Ningbing turned to look at me, her voice dropping. Why don't you meet it? You accepted. Gifts from Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran, but you won't accept mine. Is it because you don't like me? No, it's just too much. Besides, some of them aren't really my style. It's fine. The ones you don't like can just stay there, well, give them away, or sell them as second-hand items. Bai Ningbing took out her card and swiped it, her movements swift and efficient, and I couldn't stop her at all. After the payment was done, she turned that incredibly beautiful and delicate face and looked at me with an innocent expression. If we change our minds after swiping the card, Bai family will be ridiculed. Let's go, honey. The shop staff saw me off with beaming smiles, only for Bai Ningbing to pull me into a watch store. Hubby, do you like any of these? No. Before, when Liu Ruyan and Li Shiren treated me well, they liked to give me things, but they didn't like it when I was the one taking initiative. So I got used to receiving things passively and rarely voiced my own preferences. Bai Ningbing glanced at me in surprise, then made the decision for me. Then every model over 300,000 yuan. Give me one of each so he can rotate them daily. I suddenly feel like the one in the middle is quite nice. I had no time left for reminiscing about the past. I had to immediately snap out of it and change my mind. After receiving the watch, I immediately said to Bai Ningbing, Ningbing, my feet are so tired. If we don't go back. I was truly afraid she would buy out the entire mall. If you're tired, then we'll stop here. Bai Ningbing didn't refuse, but her next sentence nearly made me choke on my own saliva. She said, I just told my special assistant to buy this entire shopping mall in your name. Now, whenever you want to come, just come as you please. Since when? Was it while I was briefly distracted? I knew then that the Bai family was rich, but I didn't expect them to be this terrifyingly wealthy. Bai Ningbing and I had been out for less than an hour, and we already owned a whole shopping mall. Now that we're back home, is your mood feeling any better? I asked the netizens, and they said that when you're upset or unhappy, shopping a lot can help relieve the pressure. Indeed, my mood had improved significantly. Thank you. I'm truly happy. The championship trophy for the jewelry design competition will arrive in 2 days. I wonder if Mrs. Fang is interested in keeping it safe for me. Really? This is your first international trophy. It holds such a special meaning. Bai Ningbing's reaction was even more excited than when I received a whole mall. It was the first time I'd seen someone's eyes sparkle so brilliantly in real life. I couldn't help but smile. That's why I want to give it to my wife, so she can share this joy with me. Bai Ningbing smiled back and said shyly, "It's my honor." She had to do physical therapy and simultaneously begin taking over the work at the Bai Group. She was incredibly busy. In just the short time she sat with me, her phone rang incessantly. She had just hung up when her special assistant and several senior managers arrived at the house. Seeing that I seemed to be doing fine, she left to handle her business. The sunlight today was beautiful, so I took some food to the pond in the garden to feed the koi. Even though it was the dead of winter, the entire place had underfloor heating, so it wasn't cold at all. Right after I finished feeding the fish, a servant prepared a glass of fresh juice for me. I lay on the lounge chair, sipping juice while sunbathing, and opened my phone to find news about Liu Ruyen, Li Shiran, and Sun Lin everywhere. Thanks to the three of them making a scene, the internet is now flooded with their scandals of playing the victim while being the thief. Calling them plagiarists or thieves is putting it lightly. Sun Lin. This guy dared to brazenly take Fang Yuan's drafts for the competition, after winning a gold medal based on someone else's work without any shame. He even turned around to bite back, claiming that they were the ones who plagiarized him. I've never seen anyone so thick-skinned and shameless. I'm a neighbor of the Fang family. Ever since the Fang parents adopted Sun Lin, they treated him just like their own son. Yet before this, he dragged Liu Ruyen and Li Shiran to try and ruin Fang Yuan's wedding. Now he's even slandering him too. Truly an ungrateful, white-eyed wolf. Those two girls are even more disgusting. Did Fang Yuan kill their fathers? Or harm their mothers? How could they help that lowlife harm him like this? Is there anyone in the world more hateful than Liu Ruyen and Li Shiran? They grew up with Fang Yuan. One of them even dated him for 7 years. Yet after knowing him for over 20 years, they pretended to be righteous while slandering and framing him. If he hadn't prepared a way out for himself, then who knows how miserably he would have been ruined by them. Li Shiran, along with Liu Ruyen, Sun Lin, went to a hotel for a threesome, and then lied saying I was the one with the social disease. Since the scandal broke out, this time she gave false testimony accusing me of plagiarism and bullying. So no matter how good her PR team is, they can't save her now. Her fans have collectively turned their backs and started attacking her. Brand deals have been canceled, and contracts for upcoming films have all been terminated. She even has to pay a massive breach of contract fee. The money she earned over the years in show business probably isn't enough to cover it. Liu Ruyen isn't doing much better either. Her studio is being mercilessly insulted by netizens. A flood of customers are canceling custom orders, and that studio looks like it won't be able to survive much longer. Bai Ningbing and my parents have all publicly spoken out. Anyone who dares to help Liu Ruyen or Li Shiran is directly opposing our two families. Now let alone old acquaintances, even their own parents don't want to get involved. If the older generation intervenes, this feud will escalate into a war between 4 major families. Sun Lin has always relied entirely on Liu Ruyen and Li Shiran. The two of them can barely take care of themselves now. So even if they wanted to help, they no longer have the strength. Liu and Li families originally treated him quite well, but after this came to light, both families forced Liu Ruyen and Li Shiran to cut all ties with him. They are not permitted to associate with him ever again. Dong Yang Hui called me, counting the gossip while cackling like a goose. Honk, honk, honk. You should have seen Sun Lin fainting from anger, and Li Shiran taking him to the Li family's private hospital, only for her mother to call security and toss them both onto the street. Liu Ruyen felt sorry for him and intended to bring him back to her place, but she was also kicked out by her mother. She scolded him for being a gold digger and threatened Liu Ruyen that if she kept seeing him, she would sever their mother-daughter relationship immediately. We chatted for a long time, and just after hanging up, a close friend of mine called. She said she was in the capital for work and wanted to have dinner with me. We set a time and place. I thought it had been a while since we last saw each other, so I agreed to the meeting. That friend booked a private room in a club. Why use such a large room for just 2 people to eat? I muttered to myself. Then pushed the door open and entered. Unexpectedly, what caught my eye was Liu Ruyen, Li Shiran, and Sun Lin as well. My face darkened, and as I was about to turn and leave, I was held back by Liu Ruyen. Yuan, let's talk for a moment. There's nothing to talk about. I brushed her hand away, intending to leave immediately. Li Shiran rushed over, locked the door, and pushed me violently. She scolded me with a dark face, asking us over such a small thing, and even wanting to let the whole internet know. You're quite something. Taking advantage of being married into the Bai family. Are you back to put on airs with us? There was a table right beside me, and luckily I managed to dodge in time, otherwise my head would have definitely hit it and bled profusely. Nonetheless, my waist hit it very hard, causing sharp pain. Sun Lin began his hypocritical act again. Chiron, it's not like we're just learning about my brother's personality today. Just endure it. Don't get physical with him. We came here today to reconcile with him. It's because he's too despicable. Give him an inch and hell take a mile. I massaged my aching waist, having no desire to deal with him any longer. Move. Liu Ruyan frowned at me. Yuan, I admit that what we did this time was indeed a bit wrong. But how many times did you harm Lin before? You owe him too much. It was just giving him the designs to make it up to him. Didn't we already negotiate and settle this? How could you stab us in the back and expose the truth like that? When did I ever negotiate with you? You were the ones who are truly shameless, stealing my design drafts. I immediately exploded in anger. Hearing that, both Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran looked uneasy, but Sun Lin's eyes turned red. Little brother, I've already stopped holding those past matters against you. Can I just ask for a few designs as compensation? Do you really have no intention of making up for your past mistakes at all? Seeing him like that, Liu Ruyan felt incredibly heartbroken. They both turned to look at me simultaneously. True, we were wrong this time. But you've done too many wrong things to Sun. You owe him, don't you? Li Shiran shouted directly, Ruyan. There's no need to waste words on him. A thick-skinned, ungrateful wolf like him has no conscience to begin with. Fang Yuan, listen carefully. If you don't want me to expose all those times you bullied Sun before, then withdraw the lawsuit immediately. A barrage of accusations came flooding in, just like it has been for the past 3 years. Sun Lin could always make Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran dance to his tune. With just a single frown from him, they would be ready to grind my bones to ash. Looking at their self-righteous faces, I found it utterly ridiculous. Do you think you're some heroes punishing evil and promoting good, and feeling all touched by yourselves? Now open your blind eyes and look closely. See how Sun Lin has been leading you around, like dogs on a leash. I took all the evidence the private investigator gave me this morning, and threw it all right in their faces. I originally planned to mail it after lunch with my friend. Now I can even save on the shipping costs. I also unblocked them on WeChat, and sent all the video evidence over to them. Liu Ruyan. Li Shiran's face was covered in tiny cuts from the sharp edges of the paper, but neither of them had the heart to be angry with me anymore. They stared blankly at the scattered papers, and the videos they had just received. Their expressions grew more ghastly by the second. 3 years ago, in the spring, Sun Lin was beaten on his way home. He came back in tattered clothes, covered in bruises and wounds. He cried and said that the bully who attacked him had issued a threat, claiming it was done on my behalf to teach him a lesson. After that person was caught, he confessed that I had paid him to do it. Liu Ruyan, Li Shiran, along with Sun Lin, under the guise of not wanting me to go to jail, refused to call the police, claiming it was for my own good, only to stubbornly pin all the blame on me. But the PI caught Sun Lin and the thug who beat him, laughing and talking together multiple times. They even went out for meals together. Moreover, 3 years ago, Sun Lin withdrew 300,000 yuan in cash, and that thug's account suddenly increased by exactly 300,000 yuan for no reason. 2 years ago, in the summer, Sun Lin always chose blind spots or places without cameras to frame me. Tired of the constant harassment, I wore a hidden camera on my clothes, just to capture his true colors. But he found out. He didn't expose me right away. Instead, he filmed himself bathing and changing as if he were being voyeured, including other suggestive acts, then sold them to illicit websites. Then he turned around and accused me to Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran, claiming I intentionally used a hidden camera to spy on him, just to get revenge on him, that I was picking victims for people with sick fetishes. Liu Ruyan, after Li Shiran found the hidden camera in my bedroom, she gave me a severe scolding, once again using the excuse of not wanting me to go to prison, preventing me from reporting to the police in the name of my own good. However, the PI went to the trouble of contacting that illicit site and obtained their bank transaction records. All profits from Sun Lin's explicit video went directly into his own bank card. And that time Sun Lin fell down the stairs. He said I pushed him, but actually, the PI contacted the maid who was fired by the Liu family. She faced the camera and confessed with shame. I saw Master Sun roll down by himself, but he gave me 200,000 yuan to keep my mouth shut. My son was getting married. We were short on the dowry money, so I took the money and left. He insisted on giving me cash. But my trip back home takes several hours by bus. I was afraid of being robbed, so I eventually asked him to transfer the money to me. The bank statements are attached right there. In those 3 years, I can't even remember how much mud Sun Lin threw at me. Even the P, I couldn't uncover it all, because some of Sun Lin's schemes were too well hidden, and too much time has passed. Not every single incident could be proven with evidence, but the documents and videos I provided are more than enough to completely unmask Sun Lin's true self. Liu Ruyan flipped through the stacks of evidence I printed, along with the videos I sent. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably. Sun. How could Sun be this kind of person? So all those years, there are words that she couldn't even bring herself to say. The mistakes she had committed. She didn't even dare to face them. It turns out everything Fang Yuan said was the truth. Sun Lin has been framing him all these years. I've been nothing but a dog, led by the nose and played with, and even helped him bully Fang Yuan day in and day out. I'm such a piece of trash. Sun Lin saw things were going south. He tried to make a run for it. I grabbed him by the hair, holding him tight so he couldn't escape. What's wrong? Tired of playing the victim? He framed and bullied me for so long. Now that everything is clear, does he think he can just walk away? Not a chance in hell.
Let go of me! I didn't mean to hurt you. If your Fang family had made things clear from the start, that you wouldn't force me to marry a vegetable, would I have been so scared that I'd have to hurt you? This is all your fault. You all are. Before Sun Lin could finish shouting, Li Shiran smashed a wine bottle right over his head. Her eyes were bloodshot as she lunged at him, slapping him repeatedly across the face, stabbing him multiple times with the broken glass. What right does a piece of trash like you have to yell at Fang Yuan? How dare you frame him like that? You tricked me into hurting him. He suffered so much because of you. Still have the nerve to make excuses? You really deserve to die.
Sun Lin's head was covered in blood. He frantically called out to Liu Ruyan, "Little sister Ruyan, save me." But Liu Ruyan didn't rush to protect him like before. She was in a state of total panic. Looking at me, she stammered out an explanation. "I'm sorry, Yuan. I didn't know. It turns out it was all his scheme to frame you." But before she could finish, she was interrupted by Sun Lin's screams. "Little sister Ruyan, save me. Even if I did Fang Yuan wrong, I have never done anything wrong to you. And Shiran too. I'm still the savior who saved both your lives." Liu Ruyan only hesitated for a split second. Then she rushed forward and pushed Li Shiran away, shielding Sun Lin behind her. Li Shiran was livid, her eyes burning red. She swung her hand and slapped Liu Ruyan hard. "He harmed Fang Yuan for so long. Why you still want to protect him? Why go ahead and hit me? I won't hit back. I framed Yuan. I deserve to pay the price. But just like Sun said, he is the one who saved our lives. I can't just stand by and watch." Liu Ruyan kept her eyes fixed on me as she spoke. Her eyes were full of regret and deep affection. "I'm sorry, Yuan, but please believe me. I will definitely make it up to you for these past 3 years. Every day and night I wanted to tell her the truth, so she would stop resenting me, so we could reconcile. But as she looked at me with those affectionate eyes again, in this moment I only felt utterly nauseated. I couldn't even mutter a single word. Just opening my mouth made me want to throw up. Are you crazy or just stupid? This bastard Sun Lin has been lying for 3 years. I can't remember how much false blame Sun Lin dumped on me. Even the P I couldn't know it all, because some of Sun Lin's tricks were so sophisticated. And it's been a long time. It wasn't everything. That every incident had clear evidence, but the documents and videos I provided are more than enough to unmask Sun Lin. Liu Ruyan looked over the evidence I printed again and again, along with the videos I sent. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Sun. How could Sun be this kind of person? It turns out those years, the truth was, there were words even she didn't dare to speak. The sins she had committed. She didn't even have the courage to face them. It turns out everything Fan Yuan said was true. Sun Lin has been framing him for years. I was led around like a dog. Even helped him bully Fang Yuan. Sun Lin realized the situation was unfavorable. He tried to flee. I grabbed him tightly by the hair, holding him so he couldn't escape. What, not playing the victim anymore? He framed and bullied me for so long. Now that everything has come to light, he wants to just turn around and run. Life doesn't work that way. Let go of me. I didn't mean to hurt you on purpose. If your Fang family had said it clearly earlier that you wouldn't force me to marry that soulless corpse, would I have had to hurt you out of fear? This is all your fault. It's you people. Sun Lin hadn't even finished shouting when Li Shiran smashed a wine bottle right on his head. With bloodshot eyes, she lunged at him, giving him several stinging slaps, stabbing him repeatedly with the broken glass shards. You dared to frame him. You tricked me into hurting him. He suffered so much because of you. You still dare to make shameless excuses. You truly deserve to die. Blood was streaming down Sun Lin's head. He frantically begged Liu Ruyan for help. Little sister Ruyan, save me. But Liu Ruyan no longer rushed out to shield him as before. She was utterly confused. Looking at me, she stammered for an explanation. I'm sorry, Yuan. I really had no idea. It turns out it was all his scheme to frame you all along. Before she could finish, she was drowned out by Sun Lin's roar. Little sister Ruyan, save me. Even if I did something wrong to Fang Yuan, I have never done anything wrong to you and little sister Shiran. I'm still the savior who saved your lives. Liu Ruyan only hesitated for a moment before lunging to push Li Shiran away to protect Sun Lin behind her. Li Shiran was so angry she saw stars. She delivered a thunderous slap to her face. He framed Fang Yuan for so long. Why do you still want to protect that kind of person? Why? Go ahead and hit me. I won't fight back. I misunderstood and framed Yuan. I need to pay for that mistake. But just like Sun said, he is the one who saved our lives. Can't just stand by and watch. As Liu Ruyan spoke, her eyes never left mine. Those eyes were filled with remorse and obsession. I'm sorry, Yuan, but please believe me just once. I will definitely make everything up to you. For 3 years, I spent every night longing to tell her the truth, hoping she would stop blaming me, hoping we could go back to how we were. But as she looked at me with that intense gaze again, in this moment, I only felt extreme disgust. I didn't even want to say a single word. The thought of opening my mouth made me sick. This bastard Sun Lin has been lying for 3 years, always finding ways to torment Fang Yuan. Not a single word from his mouth was true, and you still believe he's the one who saved our lives. Is your brain filled with water? Li Shiran slapped and pummeled Liu Ruyan repeatedly. The corner of Liu Ruyan's mouth was bleeding, but she absolutely did not resist, only determinedly shielding Sun Lin, without even blinking, staring at me infatuatedly. It made my stomach churn with horror. I really had no more patience to watch this ridiculous drama, so I pushed the door and walked straight out. Fang Yuan, Yuan. Almost the moment I moved, both Li Shiran and Liu Ruyan chased after me, blocking my path. But as they tried to grab my arm, they were stopped by someone else. Husband, are you okay? Someone saw you enter this private room and said they heard a man screaming inside. Did they hurt you anywhere? Bai Ningbing took my hand, worriedly checking me over. She couldn't hide her anxiety. I quickly reassured her. I'm fine. Seriously, don't ever meet them alone again. I'm so afraid they'll harm you. I know. I was tricked into coming here by them this time too. If I had known they were the ones inviting me for a meal, I definitely would never have come, because my past relationship with Liu Ruyan was significant. I didn't want Bai Ningbing to misunderstand, so I added another explanation. Liu Ruyan stood by witnessing this, her face turning paler. Yuan, you're just angry with me. Because I believe Sun. Because Sun Lin didn't believe you, you got spiteful and married Bai Ningbing, right? Now I know the whole truth. Come back to me. You know how much it hurts me to see you with another woman. Even if you want to punish me, don't upset me like this. I just turned to Bai Ningbing and said, let's go. Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran screamed my name, still wanting to chase after me, but they were completely blocked by bodyguards. And I absolutely did not bother looking back. As soon as I got in the car, I immediately called my friend Zhang Ba. Why did you trick me? We're supposed to be good friends. It's not about tricking anyone. I just saw that you, Director Liu, and Ms. Li have been close for so many years, and it would be a pity to break up over a small misunderstanding. That would be such a shame. What do you think? I think there's something wrong with your head. I hope your girlfriend cheats on you. I hope she and your closest friend betray you for some gigolo, always finding ways to harm you, until they make your life a living hell. That I hope you can still say, it's no big deal. Having said that, I hung up immediately. If it were before, I would definitely have thrown away my SIM card, deleted my WeChat account, to completely leave the past behind, distance myself from those people and events. To put it elegantly, it's being free-spirited. To be blunt, it's a weak escape. But the actions of Liu Ruyan, Li Shiran, and Sun Lin showed me that running away doesn't solve anything. Besides, I'm not the one who did anything wrong. Why should I be the one to hide? I posted a status on my social media, declaring a complete break with Liu Ruyan, Li Shiran, and Sun Lin as irreconcilable enemies. Anyone like Zhang Ba, who thinks they're so righteous and jumps in to play peacemaker, We're done from this moment on. Bai Ningbing sat next to me, wanting to say something but stopping herself. What is it? I put down the phone and asked her. She opened a contract the special assistant just sent.
I just bought you a Rolls-Royce, a Ferrari, and a Maybach. Could that make your mood a little better? Bing, don't you think you're being a bit of a spendthrift? Am I? But my spending speed can't keep up with my earning speed anyway. But if you don't like me shopping like this, then I'll stop. I'll transfer all the assets to your name. From now on, you can buy whatever you want yourself. Bai Ningbing's actions were always decisive. She immediately called the lawyer after saying that. Prepare the contracts for me. I want to transfer all my assets to my husband. Can it be done within an hour? Sorry about that. She's drunk and talking nonsense. I snatched the phone and hung up immediately. I looked at Bai Ningbing. It was truly hard to imagine. Someone considered the sharpest young female CEO in the business world could do something that would shock even the most love-struck fool. Not to mention someone with hundreds of billions in assets like her. Even a woman with only 50 million in her account might not be willing to give all her money to her husband. My mood was incredibly complicated. If your family knew you planned to transfer everything to me, they'd surely want to beat you to death. Bai Ningbing seriously suggested. Then we'll just hide it from them. No, I'm afraid of being scolded. Calling me a male version of a gold digger. Who dares to scold you? I'll scold them back. I don't want to take such a huge advantage of my wife. Actually, it's because I like the feeling of surprise when receiving gifts. Receiving a small gift every now and then is much more enjoyable than receiving one massive gift once. Bai Ningbing immediately changed her mind. Then I won't transfer it. After returning home, Bai Ningbing called in 20 bodyguards for me. 10 men and 10 women. Husband, pick 2 bodyguards to accompany you. That way I can feel more at ease. Can it be 1 man and 1 woman? Whether in private or professional life, Liu Ruyan never wanted me to have contact with the opposite sex. Li Shiran shared the same viewpoint. I rarely had close contact with women, so I wasn't sure if all women cared about this. Ningbing seemed not to care much at all. Of course, it's fine, as long as you like it. You can choose whoever you want. The first one in the second row looks a lot like that female star you like. Do you like her? Or if anyone else catches your eye, just pick a few more, so they can take shifts. Doesn't it bother you? Why should it bother me? Trust your character. And of course, I have enough confidence in myself. If any woman could seduce you, then perhaps I should re-examine myself to see what the problem is. I looked at Bai Ningbing in astonishment, and then I burst out laughing. I thought this marriage would be full of suffering, but now it seems that might not be the case. After arranging bodyguards for me, Bai Ningbing threw herself back into work. In the evening, she took me out to dinner. She introduced me to her friends. Hello, brother-in-law. Here is the meeting gift I've prepared for you. Greetings, brother-in-law. Up close like this, you're even more handsome. The watch I chose will definitely look great on you. Sister Bai mentioned that all your friends are in High City, so you probably don't know many people around here. She's afraid you'll have no one to hang out with when she's busy. So if you don't mind, brother-in-law, you can call me anytime. I have plenty of free time, so just give me a shout. The best spots for fun and food in the capital. I'm the one who knows them best. A group of both men and women surrounded me. Everyone was extremely welcoming. This scene was truly a bit unfamiliar to me. Liu Ruyan never allowed me to associate with any opposite sex except Li Shiran. Even when I was too close with friends of the same sex, she would also get incredibly jealous, so her friends knew me. But in reality, we only knew each other's names. That was it, nothing more, nothing less. Not like now, where Bai Ningbing's friends are all fluttering around me. She wasn't at all afraid of them being too close to me. She even introduced my hobbies to them, so I could quickly integrate into her circle of friends. I thought suddenly facing a group of strangers would make me uncomfortable. But Bai Ningbing's friends, though enthusiastic, were very well-mannered. Talking with them was actually quite pleasant. My spirits quickly relaxed. I turned to look at Bai Ningbing, and just then caught her gaze. She had been watching me intently, as if I were her entire world. For some reason, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. The party ended. Bai Ningbing and I said goodbye to everyone and left. But just as we stepped out of the hotel, we saw Liu Ruyan. She came running towards us. When she saw me and Bai Ningbing holding hands, the panic in the depths of her eyes, along with her regret, suddenly transformed into fury. Even if you wanted to marry someone else just to spite me, you shouldn't be so intimate with her. You know very well it makes me unhappy. I coldly interrupted her. Can you stop being so arrogant? Why do you think that after you cheated, and Sun Lin bullied me repeatedly because of you, that I would still like you? I find you disgusting.
Liu Ruyan hurriedly explained. Swear I never cheated. We went to the hotel that day, truly just because his clothes were dirty. I never had a relationship with him, and I don't have any diseases. Only helped him before because I was tricked. I never liked him at all. I'm sorry. I know I hurt you because of him, so you married someone else to punish me. Now that I know the truth, I will cut ties with him. Punishing me like this is enough. It's time to divorce and come back to me. She tried to step forward and grab my hand, but I shoved her away forcefully. Get it. Liu Ruyan. I don't like you anymore. I have a wife now. Between us now, it's just the relationship of defendant and plaintiff. Liu Ruyan's eyes turned red. I understand. You're just disappointed because I was still protecting Sun Lin, so you're just very let down by me. She said that. But he is still my savior after all. I cannot return kindness with ingratitude. Besides, even though he slandered you before, he was the one who always ended up getting hurt, wasn't he? Why can't you just let it go? He was beaten by Shiren and her bodyguards until his face was ruined and several of his ribs were broken. He is still in the hospital now, unable to get out of bed. It's miserable enough. Just a month ago, I both loved and hated her, suffering in despair because of her. But at this moment, I can't help but wonder, how could I have been so blind back then to love someone like this? Since she doesn't listen to reason, there's no point in talking anymore. I didn't even bother looking at her, took Bai Ningbing's hand and said, let's go. After calling her wife, I realized what I just said and felt a bit embarrassed. Luckily, Bai Ningbing didn't tease me. She only gently replied with a yes. A Yuan, how can you call her that? We've known each other for 25 years, loved for 7 years. You can't just give up on our feelings to love someone else, right? Yuan. Liu Ruyan's face turned pale as she chased after us. But with just a glance from Bai Ningbing, the bodyguards blocked her. For the next half-month, Liu Ruyan still tried to bother me, but was always stopped by the guards. She finally realized that my marriage to Bai Ningbing wasn't to spite her, but that I had truly let her go. It was then that Liu Ruyan truly panicked. Though blocked by the guards again, she still lost control and shouted towards me, sobbing and apologizing. Yuan, everything before was my fault, but it was all because I was deceived by Sun Lin. I didn't mean to hurt you. He is my savior. Cannot return kindness with ingratitude and harm him, but I promise from now on I won't care about him anymore. In the future, no matter who frames you, I won't believe them anymore. Give me a chance. I beg of you. Yuan. Liu Ruyan looked gentle, as if she were very approachable, but pride was in her bones. She never knew how to bow her head. This was the first time she sincerely apologized to me, begging for my forgiveness. But these were things I didn't care about anymore. Liu Ruyan still refused to give up, clinging to me without letting go. But I paid her no mind, so she couldn't do anything to me. But Li Shiren was different. She was naturally very desperate. When I escorted Bai Ningbing to the gala, she knelt right where I got out of the car. A crowd of people filmed her with their phones. She was beautiful, and her face was flushed with shame, but she resolutely stayed kneeling there. Fang Yuan, it's because I was stupid. I must have been brain dead to believe that bastard Sun Lin's schemes. I misunderstood you for 3 years, and I hurt you for 3 years. I was foolish. I was mean. I failed you. If you hate me, I deserve it, but I truly see you as my own brother. Don't ignore me like this. You can scold me, hit me, take revenge on me however you want. Just say one word to me, please. Li Shiren screamed her apologies to me, but I didn't care. She crawled toward me. Fang Yuan, look at me. Is it because you think hitting me would dirty your hands? I'll do it myself. She slapped herself across the face, over and over. Her face quickly swelled up, and the corners of her mouth bled. I didn't even give her a glance. When Bai Ningbing and I came out of the hotel, Li Shiran was still kneeling there. When I went home, she was kneeling right outside my wedding suite. Liu Ruyan bothered me for over half a month, and Li Shiran tortured herself like that for over half a month. Even a body of iron couldn't withstand such torment. She lost consciousness and was taken to the hospital. Her parents contacted me, hoping I would visit her in the hospital, but I refused. The next day, Li's parents and Liu Ruyan's mother visited my house. I could cut off all contact, never interacting with Liu Ruyan and Li Shiran again. But their parents had raised me, so I couldn't ignore them. Yuan, the matter between you and Shiran and Ruyan, as your elders, we have heard all about it. It really was their fault before. You hate them, and if you don't want to see them anymore, that's fine. But could you please not sue them? If they have to go to prison, their whole lives will be ruined. Right, no matter how much resentment there is between you, it shouldn't reach the point of pushing each other this far. After all, you grew up together from childhood, as close as family. Consider it us begging you. For the sake of us raising you, Don't be too harsh on those who are trying to make amends. Don't be so heartless. They kept speaking one after another. I didn't even have a chance to interject. I just waited until they were completely finished. Then I spoke up. Aunts and uncles, you have treated me very well. I have never thought of forgetting your kindness. That's why I didn't let my family or my wife's family vent their anger on yours. And I also hope you know that I once saved the lives of Li Shiran and Liu Ruyan. Yet Li Shiran kicked me into the pool, making me almost drown. As for the things Liu Ruyan did to me before, I'm not pursuing them further. That is already showing great consideration for the past. Parents of both families sighed deeply and left. 2 days later, the court held the trial. Sun Lin had a long scar on his face, and his face was pale. Looking at his gait, he seemed not to have fully recovered. Li Shiran glared at him angrily and rushed forward to hit him. Despite the bailiffs and Liu Ruyan stopping her, she still managed to kick Sun Lin a few times. Liu Ruyan also got slapped a few times while trying to protect Sun Lin. Her clothes were also covered in footprints, but she didn't care about those things, trying to explain herself to me in the middle of the crowd. Yuan, in protecting him. Only because he is my savior. I absolutely don't like him at all. Li Shiran cursed at her. You are such an idiot. Still believing Sun Lin saved your life at this point. You're truly beyond help. Fang Yuan was right to abandon you.
Someone like you and that fool are truly a match made in heaven.
You basically don't deserve Fang Yuan. Before, my brain must have been filled with water to think you were suitable and to support you being by Fang Yuan's side. The trial ended. Li Shiran was sentenced to 1.5 years in prison. Liu Ruyan and Sun Lin were sentenced to 2 years each, and they had to compensate me for economic damages of 1 million yuan. When they were being led away, Sun Lin wouldn't stop screaming, throwing a tantrum. I don't accept this. In the end, the design drafts were still Fang Yuan's. Netizens are all cursing me. He didn't lose anything. What's the basis for sending me to prison? But his refusal to accept it was useless.
He was still taken away. Li Shiran looked at me. I deserve all of this. Please absolutely do not feel sad because of this. Liu Ruyan looked at me with eyes full of affection. I'm sorry, Yuan. I owe you. I am willing to atone. As long as you stop being angry, it's fine. I didn't bother with anyone, leaving the court with Bai Ningbing. She was a very disciplined person who actively cooperated with her rehabilitation exercises. No matter how busy, tired, or painful it was, she never gave up. But one time she really couldn't take it anymore, so she came to find me. Hubby, can you give me a hug? What's wrong? Today's rehab session was a bit painful. The doctor told me already. You're training much harder than others because you want to recover quickly. Actually, you don't need to be in such a hurry. That won't do. I want to get well soon. That way, you won't have to manage everything alone, and I can take care of you. We actually hadn't known each other for long. Intimate acts like hugging were something I was still a bit unfamiliar with. But Bai Ningbing had treated me so well. A small request like this, I couldn't bring myself to refuse. I proactively stepped forward and hugged her. The moment I held her in my arms, her body suddenly stiffened. She didn't move at all. It seemed she was even more nervous than I was. I couldn't help it and chuckled. The previous awkwardness instantly vanished. Don't laugh at me. I've secretly loved you for 10 years and worked so hard to marry my male god. Now that my wish is fulfilled, my reaction is completely normal. Bai Ningbing held me tight, her voice faint, as she reproached me. For the first time being called a male god directly, I couldn't laugh anymore, and my face felt a bit hot. Since that time, Bai Ningbing asked for hugs more and more frequently. At first, she was a bit reserved, a bit shy, and I felt a little awkward too. But later, we got used to it, and after her health improved, she didn't need the wheelchair anymore. Every time she sat on my lap and wrapped her arms around my neck, I didn't find it to be an issue. Until once, her cousin Bai Ying walked in. Seeing us embracing like that, she blushed and apologized. I'm sorry. I've interrupted you both. I'll come back later. That's when I realized how intimate we had become. I embarrassedly stood up. It's okay. Are you looking for us for something? Yes, Grandpa and Grandma bought many gifts for you both from their trip. They're tired and resting, so they told me to bring them over for you. Bai Ying had the servants move the gifts inside. As she was about to leave, she teased us. Every time cousin posts photos of your love on social media or TikTok, brother-in-law is never seen liking or commenting. It made the whole family worry that things weren't going well between you. Seeing your feelings are so strong today. Now I'm relieved. Not at all? I opened Bai Ningbing's social media and TikTok. They were empty. I didn't see any posts. Bai Ying was stunned. That's not it. She took out her phone, scrolled a bit, and showed me. Look everyone, my hubby wore the high-end suit I bought today and stunned the whole room.
So many people were looking at him, both men and women. Jealous yet. No matter how jealous you are, he's still my husband. A set of 9 photos, all of me wearing this suit. Another post, hubby's not done. The little koi is sunbathing. The sunlight shining on his face makes it look like he's glowing. What did I do to deserve marrying a husband like an immortal? Another set of 9 photos, of me dozing off while sunbathing on a lounge chair. Students are already on winter break. I still remember meeting you for the first time during the 6th grade winter break. It was love at first sight. Truly love at first sight. After so many years, my male god has finally become my husband. I really feel so lucky. Continuing with another set of 9 photos, recording my journey from high school to university. When did Bai Ningbing take so many photos of me? As I was about to scroll down, a jade white hand reached out from the side and snatched the phone away. I turned to look, saw Bai Ningbing's face flush with shyness. "Don't look anymore," she murmured softly. I pretended to be unhappy. "Why did you block only me from seeing it?" I was afraid you find it annoying. Her voice became smaller and smaller. When she peeked at me, her eyes were full of sneakiness. "I don't find it annoying, although it's a bit embarrassing. I don't hate it at all." Bai Ningbing suddenly brightened up, and her voice became much higher. "Really? Yeah, don't block me from now on." "Yes, sir." Bai Ying teased us from the side. Bai Ningbing blushed and glared at her cousin, but Bai Ying only laughed louder. Half a year later, Bai Ningbing and I went on our honeymoon. That night was the first time we shared a room. When she just finished bathing, she walked toward the bed in only a towel, and the towel accidentally slipped down a bit. Over the past half year, we had lived together very closely. Bai Ningbing often sat on my lap and acted spoiled, and sometimes we shared sweet kisses. But this was the first time she wore so little in front of me. I only took a glance, and the tips of my ears felt hot. "Let's sleep. Good night." I panicked and tossed the blanket, planning to crawl inside, but I was a step too slow. Bai Ningbing ran over and snuggled into my arms, looking up with her small face to act spoiled. "Am I not pretty?" "Hubby." I was forced to look directly at her. She had just finished bathing. Her hair was still slightly damp, and her eyes seemed covered with a misty haze, drifting with vapor, and her lips were unusually red. She looked just like an enchanting little vixen right now. Being stared at by her like that, my heart beat strangely fast, and even my hand on her waist started to get sweaty. "Very pretty, of course you are. Then why don't you want to look at me? Look at me a bit. Look at me a little longer, please." Bai Ningbing gently bit her lip and looked at me expectantly. In this situation, no man could restrain himself. A year and a half passed, and Bai Ningbing was pregnant. When she ran into the bathroom once again, vomiting until she was dizzy, the maid called me. "Master Fang, look at that person outside. They look very strange. Should I call someone to chase them away?" I looked outside. At first glance, they seemed familiar, but I didn't recognize who it was. Looking closely again, I realized it was Li Shiran, just released from prison. She looked much thinner, her hair ragged, and only neck length. She looked nothing like before. Li Shiran saw me and her eyes lit up. "Fang Yuan." I withdrew my gaze and told the maid, "Ignore her." No one paid any attention to Li Shiran, but she persistently came every day. It could be clearly seen with the naked eye that her expression became more despondent each day. Whenever I was forced to go out, she would block the way, disregarding everything, and kneel right there to repent. For the past year and a half, I have constantly reflected on myself. I'm sorry, Fang Yuan. Truly sorry. I shouldn't have believed Sun Lin. Didn't believe you. I shouldn't have hurt you because of him. I regret it so much. Over the past year and a half, there wasn't a moment I didn't feel regret. Whether you believe it or not, I have always considered you as my own blood brother. I can accept that you're married. I can accept that you want to stay away from me. I'm also ready to do anything to make up for my past mistakes. But can you please not ignore me like this? I really can't stand you treating me as an enemy. I looked down at her, spoke calmly. That year, after I saved you and Liu Ruyan, I was exhausted and almost drowned. Since then, I've always had a phobia of water. Yet you heartlessly kicked me into the swimming pool, letting me almost drown right before your eyes. If you were me, could you forgive yourself? Li Shiran looked at me with great pain, her lips trembling. Several times she tried to speak, but couldn't say a word. Her eyes slowly filled with bloodshot veins, tears streaming all over her face. I only looked at her coldly. If you still have some conscience, then never come looking for me again. Not every apology in this world can be exchanged for forgiveness. Bai Ningbing finished vomiting. I carried her to the car and took her for her prenatal checkup. The moment the car rolled away, the sound of choked sobbing echoed from behind. Since then, Lee Shira no longer came to look for me. It was just a few days later her mother called me, crying. Yuan, Shirin attempted suicide. She was just barely saved. Could you come visit her for a bit? Please, I'm begging you. Can you? I didn't refuse, but I didn't agree either. I only knew I was still thinking. If back when I was 18, Lee Shirin had used death to threaten me, begging me to stay, but I had still decisively gone home with my biological parents, then maybe I wouldn't have had to endure so much suffering later. Mother Lee said no more, sobbing as she hung up. The day Sun Lin and Liu Ruyan were released from prison was also the day my son was born. I had Sun Lin closely watched, tending to take revenge once he was out. But before I could even act, he was beaten half to death by a group of thugs on the very day of his release. A week after that, he unfortunately fell into a pond and almost drowned. Half a month later, he was involved in a sex scandal with ugly women, and those videos were leaked across the dark web. A month later, he had an accident and fell down the stairs, resulting in him being paralyzed. Sun Lin called the police, and Li Shiran was arrested immediately. It's expected she will serve 10 years in prison. She was once a very famous female star. Yet right after being released, she had to go back for intentional injury. Many reporters came to interview her. Facing the camera, Li Shiran appeared extremely calm. Before, because of that fool, I misunderstood and hurt my little brother. I must demand justice for my little brother. How many times has he lied? Frame my little brother. I will turn all those lies into reality. He brought this all on himself. I watched that interview too. I just glanced at it for a few seconds and turned it off. During the 2 years Liu Ruyan was in prison, her mother brought her illegitimate child home and let him take over her position. After getting out of prison, she was preoccupied with a battle of wits and courage against that stepchild. After Sun Lin was paralyzed by Li Shiran, she finally came to me in a rage. It was me and Sun Lin, and Shiran too. We are truly sorry to you, but we have all served our time in prison. Our debt to you should be considered paid in full. Why are you still hounding Sun Lin without letting go? He did hurt you once, but he is also the lifesaver for me and Shiran. You incited Shiran to repay kindness with enmity, turning Sun Lin into a cripple. Don't you think you're being too much? I looked at her screaming frantically, without a single ripple of emotion in my heart. First, I never incited Li Shiran to do that. Second, open your dog eyes wide and look carefully at who your real lifesaver is. I opened a link sent by a private investigator and held it in front of her face. This is a news report from 3 years ago about the heartless flash flood. Yet human hearts have intention. Someone risked their life to save others in the flood, and among the photos, there happened to be one of me saving Liu Ruyan. This news report originally didn't attract any attention. The private investigator only recently found it by chance. If it weren't for feeling so bothered by Liu Ruyan hounding me, I wouldn't have bothered wasting my breath on her. After hearing this, Liu Ruyan stared blankly at the photo, like a puppet whose strings had been cut, collapsing hopelessly to the ground. How? How could this be? Sun Lin clearly said that he was the one who saved me. He said you saw the danger, so you abandoned me and fled for your life. Why did he lie to me even about this? How could he treat me like a fool and play me like a toy? I didn't care about her at all and turned to walk away. Liu Ruyan suddenly jumped up and chased after me. I'm sorry, Fang Yuan. Before, it was all because I was deceived by Sun Lin. Everything before was my fault. It's only natural that you're disappointed in me. But now, I truly regret it. I will make it up to you. Can you come back to me? Hubby, our son is crying. Bai Ningbing's voice came from inside. My son is crying? The nanny is there. And my parents, my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law too. It's basically not my turn to hold him, her calling out like that was clearly intentional. But I went along with it and played my part. I'm coming right now. Liu Ruyan looked as if she had just suffered an enormous shock. You already have a child with another woman? Fang Yuan, our feelings over all these years. You say let go and you just let go. Think back on the things you've done yourself. Then look at that question of yours again. Don't you find it ridiculous? But I didn't mean to. It's just that I was deceived. Liu Ruyan covered her face, tears streaming down through her fingers. I didn't even bother to give her a glance, and ordered the guards to kick her out. Not long after that, while paralyzed from the waist down, and with no one to care for him, Sun Lin died miserably of starvation in his rented room. When he was discovered, there was still waste left under him, even showing clear bite marks. Liu Ruyan was right there by his side at the time. I heard her mental state had become seriously compromised, and her mother threw her into a mental hospital. When I heard this news, it was exactly during my son's 1-month celebration. Childbirth is so painful and dangerous. Don't listen to the urging of your parents or mine anymore. We won't have any more children. I held my son, tenderly placing a kiss on his forehead. I Ningbing, this time giving birth. She had to endure so much suffering. Many people joke that women lose their looks after giving birth. But after giving birth, she looks even more beautiful, exuding an indescribable charm. But in my heart, I only feel immense pity and love for her. You must listen to your husband, got it? My dear wife is so good. They often say that after suffering comes happiness. It seems all my bad luck has truly faded away. Liu Ruyan. Ever since I was very little, my parents were divorced. Mother always nagged in my ear about father's philandering ways. Your father kept fooling around with a bunch of women, and in the end he remarried his own stepsister. I was too naive to believe his words. Believing your father's words when he said that they were just simple friends, and that she was just a sister brought over by his stepfather. There is no such thing as pure friendship between a man and a woman. Daughter, you must remember this well. When you have a boyfriend later, you must watch him closely. Don't let him get too close to any woman. Otherwise, he will be just like your father, running after another one. She repeated that so many times that I could memorize her every intonation. At first, when I didn't have someone in my dreams, I simply resented my father. But later, as I saw Fang Yuan becoming more talented and handsome, I realized my feelings for him, and those words of advice became a horrific obsession. Before we officially dated, I was just like Li Shiran, looking for ways to control him, using the title of Nuna to chase away anyone who wanted to get close to him. After we officially fell in love, I would get insanely jealous whenever I saw him talking to the opposite sex. Seeing him smile at them made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Even if he listened to me and intentionally kept his distance from other women, in my heart, I still always felt an intense sense of insecurity, because he was truly so outstanding. Even though he had the status of an orphan, his innate talent and top-tier looks still attracted so many admirers. Every time he stood on the podium speaking, or when he shone brightly in a crowd, there were always countless longing eyes fixed upon him. I couldn't stand those looks, much less accept them having special feelings for him. Except for strictly mandatory events, I never wanted him to appear in public places. I frequently checked his phone in secret. I deleted all the contacts of the opposite sex. Fang Yuan argued with me over this. I really don't understand. I only did it because I love you too much. Why won't you try to understand my heart? I'm a woman too. I know exactly what those girls are plotting. They are thirsting for you. I just don't want my boyfriend to be eyed by others. Is that a crime? Why? I only checked the phone and deleted a few names. And yet he flew into such a rage. Could it be that you don't love me that much anymore, and have already secretly fallen for someone else? Those idle speculations kept me living in constant fear. Fortunately, Li Shiran and the elders of both families took my side. Fang Yuan then began to reflect on himself. He listened to me, didn't contact any other women, nor made friends or kept their contact information. Shouldn't I have felt relieved? But I still couldn't do it. Fang Yuan didn't get close to other women, but Li Shiran was the only exception. We grew up together since we were small. His feelings for Li Shiran were just as deep as those for me. I really wanted to chase Li Shiran out of my sight, just like I had done with the other women before. However, I couldn't do that. Mother once warned me, our family still has business relations with the Li family. Don't act recklessly. Exactly. The relationship between the Liu and Li families was extremely good. In a way, Li Shiran and I were close sisters. Yet the influence of the Liu family was not as strong as the Li family. I was forced to give her face. I absolutely could not chase her away. I witnessed with my own eyes Fang Yuan and Li Shiran laughing and talking happily. Watching them eat together at the same table, watching them enter the haunted house together, and even when they whispered secrets to each other, that sight almost drove me crazy. Li Shiran already understood my character all too well. She had long recognized my hostility toward her, and she sought me out to speak frankly. I only see Fang Yuan as my own little brother. What are you doing being nonsensically jealous all day? Of course, I'm not. My mouth smiled forcedly, but in my heart I was incessantly cursing her. Get lost with that ridiculous own little brother logic. They have no blood relation, so what does that even count for? There's no such thing as pure brotherhood or friendship between a man and a woman. I really wanted to get rid of Li Shiran once and for all. That desire was intense and unceasing. But in the end, it could only remain a thought. The only thing I could do was grit my teeth and endure it. Watching Li Shiran being able to freely appear by Fang Yuan's side any time, I felt like I was about to lose my mind. Not until the whole group went on a trip together and met with disaster in the flash flood did I truly wake up. As soon as I woke up, I heard Li Shiran screaming in rage at the Fang family's adopted son. You risked your life to save us. while that despicable Fang Yuan slipped away first because he was afraid of the danger. Damn it, I've raised a dog for so many years, and I haven't seen one this ungrateful. What an ungrateful wretch. All the negative emotions I had suppressed for so long immediately exploded violently. Turns out Fang Yuan really was the kind of person I thought he was. He basically didn't love me that much at all. If he truly loved me deeply, how could he have the heart to abandon me and escape alone? I truly loathed him. I had loved him so much and treated him so well, so why could he be so cold to me like that? Li Shiran and I wanted to find Fang Yuan to demand an explanation, but when we called, he didn't pick up. Asking friends, no one knew where he was either. Truly, a guilty conscience needs no accuser, to the point he didn't dare show his face to confront us. It wasn't until half a month later that he finally appeared, and yet he still had the nerve to argue that Sun Lin had stolen his credit and said he had pneumonia from risking his life to save people. At that moment, I was even more certain that my mother was right. All men are full of low schemes and dirty tricks, and are the most talented liars. I hated Fang Yuan to the bone, but at the same time, I couldn't bear to let go of him. Later, when I saw him harboring jealousy towards Sun Lin,
and constantly looking for ways to bully him. Although I did voice my reproaches to Fang Yuan, in my heart, I still couldn't bear to send him to prison. I was convinced that I was helping him. I thought that treating him like that was already far too merciful. But I never expected that he would suddenly marry another woman. I was a bit sulky too, but in my heart, I didn't feel worried at all. I only unilaterally thought he was throwing a tantrum just to spite me. Yet he and Bai Ningbing became increasingly close. He even threw a pile of evidence right in my face. It turns out Sun Lin had been a liar all along. Even the life-saving credit was something he had blatantly snatched from Fang Yuan's hands. At that fated moment, my heart truly skipped a beat in fear. I tried my best to explain everything, thinking that as long as I acknowledged my mistake and fixed it, the two of us would still have a bright future together. I deluded myself that I had simply acted too excessively before, which was why he felt so disappointed in me, thinking that as long as I sincerely changed, he would surely return to my side. However, from inside, Bai Ningbing's voice rang out, "Hubby, our son is crying." Son, they actually already have a child together. It turns out that between us, there simply is no such thing as later anymore. Fang Yuan had long since determined to cast me aside. I was dazed, my soul wandering aimlessly, dragging myself back home, just as my mother had made her final decision. She would leave the entire company to her illegitimate child. Haha, how ridiculous. Because of her, I harbored hatred for my father for over 20 years. Yet it turns out she herself was the one having an affair. I wasn't the only one for my father, and I wasn't the only one for her either. Outside, thunder rumbled and lightning flashed. Torrential rain poured down like a deluge. I frantically rushed outside. At the moment the truck sped straight toward me, it was already too late for me to dodge. That's how I died. But when I opened my eyes, I realized I had returned to the exact day of the flash flood. Li Shiran was still there, cursing heatedly. You risked your life to save us, while that cowardly Fang Yuan fled first because he was afraid of the danger. Damn it, I'd rather feed a dog than nurture an ungrateful wretch like him. I immediately rushed forward and dealt her a heavy slap. Shut your mouth. Whatever words someone else says, you just believe them blindly like that. Fang Yuan would absolutely never be such a despicable person. Facing Li Shiran's astonished gaze, even though my body was incredibly exhausted, in my heart an intense emotion was surging. Fang Yuan, in this life, I swear I will absolutely never lose you again. I had to sit in prison for a long 10 years before being released. As soon as I got out, I heard rumors that Li Ruyan had gone mad. I trekked all the way to the mental hospital to pay her a visit. Her complexion still looked quite good. Her appearance wasn't much different from before. Only her mouth kept babbling nonsense. Shiran, did you come to visit me? After being reborn. I didn't betray Fang Yuan's sincere feelings. You absolutely mustn't let him down either, okay? I just gave birth to his second child. You're envious, aren't you? I'll let the baby have you as its godmother. It turns out she was still immersed in the beautiful dream she had woven for herself.